think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
10 self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Well, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, DLive, and Kick. Or no, Twitch, not DLive and Kick. Yeah, that. We're broadcasting live on the... Actually, no, we're not going to be on the radio today. Something's broken. It's not working, and so we had half the calls going out and then not the other half. So I'm going to just leave this off the radio tonight. So we'll just be on the streaming platforms, and we'll go from there. Tonight we got a weird one for you. This has been in the can for quite a long time because we haven't really... it's not really our style to talk sports, but this is... If you're going to do a sports report... Troubled Mind style, this is about as close as it gets because, yeah, baseball's a weird one. And I know this one probably isn't for everybody, so if this isn't your thing, that's completely cool. Dip out, and then we'll see you on the next one or whatever. But it may blow your mind because this is, again, this goes back a long time. And as we know, baseball in particular is one of those, it's an odd duck sport. It's one of those kind of things where it doesn't have a clock. It's kind of on a diamond and not on a square, or like some soccer field or a pitch, or it's literally, if you look at the entire thing, the bases, and it's just very, very, very different than most sports in modern times, of course. And a lot of ways to look at this, but we are going to get weird tonight because there is a Masonic connection to baseball itself, the founding of it, and many of the actual individuals that have been inducted to the Hall of Fame, and many of the early funding that went into the sport it had a Masonic connection, which is wild to consider, but it's true. It's all very true. And there's a lot of numerology. There's a lot of, I'm calling this a sacred game tonight, Masonic connections in baseball, but it goes deeper than that. There's a lot of ways to look at it, of course, because baseball, like I said, it's an odd duck. It's an odd duck sport. And why not? It's the All-Star game tonight. I have the game on in the background, and the American League's getting their butts kicked. There's the update on your sports ball for the night. But we are going to get weird in terms of this numerology, because this is deeply embedded in the game of baseball, 369, which you've probably heard before in terms of what's his name, Nikola Tesla, right? Energy, frequency, vibration, 369. So there's some really, really weird stuff to this that really fits into the basically baseball as a ritual and as a an idea of being a sort of sacred aspect of ritual sports or whatever it is. So we will be taking your calls a little bit later, but tonight we've got Herschel with us. What's up, Herschel? Are you there? Test 1 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear. How am I doing here?
You're coming through good. Coming through loud and clear. You sound fine. How are you tonight? What's going on, my man?
I'm doing okay. Also had the game on in the background, but
nice.
For the sake of my computer working properly, I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not missing.
So
anything.
You can update us.
Okay, gotcha. 6-0 National League at this point. I think it's the 7th inning now. But okay, so.
And my team's pitchers have messed the bed, as they say.
Oh, did they? Is that what happened? I took a quick nap when I got home, so I missed the beginning. But I woke up; it was 2-0. I was like, oh, well, that went fast. Okay. So now baseball. Yeah. Now Herschel again is a big fan of the game. He's played the game and knows this deeply. And so we were kicking around the idea a ways back, and he definitely fits as part of this because there's a lot of different ways to look at these ideas. Now I sent you this write up as kind of a beginning primer to these ideas, the baseball Masonic connection. Did you see anything in there that surprised you, or we can start anywhere? I can kind of start from the top of that list, and then we'll kind of get into it. The write-up's really good too because it talks about some other stuff, the time clock versus not the time clock, the weird duckness of the baseball. Anyway, welcome to the joint. Thanks for spending tonight with us, and thanks for being a baseball fan and recognizing that there's a lot of weird things with the game. Start wherever you like, or your initial thoughts, and then we'll kind of get into some of the meat and potatoes here.
Well, I never thought of the math of it. I'm not Freemason, and I never really thought of the math of it. I've always noticed all of those things, and the things that I have loved about the game is the fact that it is a very merit-based game. There's no clock. It's all based on performance, and that's one of the things it's also a non-contact sport, which I prefer. Like, I like sports where I'm over here and you're over there and we can have a chat at a distance. I don't like bumping bodies and stuff. I'm kind of maybe Asperger's-y like that.
Yeah,
checking like the boards, racket sports and
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like racket sports and baseball and stuff like that. So, but just a little background on me, I did not play professionally, but I did play in the system as what they called it back in the day as an approved player. But today I think they call that an unsigned free agent. So I never made it to the pros, but I played at a pretty high level. I played with a lot of guys who did go into the pros. I was approved to play with major league talent, even though I was not major league talent.
Nice.
So
I got nowhere close.
I know some things, and if something comes up, then that I can address, I will. But I'm mostly here for the nerdy math stuff, like everybody else.
Okay.
And if something comes up that I feel like I can contribute, I will.
Okay, perfect. So let's start from the list here. And basically, guys, so as you know, we'll be taking your calls. I hope the phone line and everything works. Like I said, I moved some stuff around, but tech issues. I'll fix everything tomorrow and make sure we're good for Thursday. But so we're not on the radio tonight. We will be taking your calls on Discord because that seems to work. Thank you, Herschel, for testing that out. And we'll check the phone line momentarily. But if you want to be part of the conversation, 702-957-1037 is the number. It's on the screen there. You can see it. And so with baseball in particular, like I said, it's an odd duck sport for a number of reasons. And we'll start with this weird connection of the Masonic stuff. I'll read it straight from the thing. It's probably best to just read it straight. So at the heart of the theory is baseball field's layout, which mirrors the iconic Masonic square and compass emblem. And you can see that in the graphic tonight. A symbol representing moral rectitude, the square, and the boundaries of human passion, which would be the compass. The diamond formed by the bases creates the square, while the outfield wall traces a semicircle, evoking the compass's arc. Home plate serves as the pivot point, with the infield paths pointing precise 90-degree angles, 90 feet between bases, emphasizing squareness and geometric precision central to Masonic architecture and ritual. Upside down or overlaid, the field replicates this emblem exactly, with the pitcher's mound at the center symbolizing the G for God or geometry in Masonic iconography, representing the divine architect. So that's where we'll start with this. And it is, again, so think of it this way. There's 3 strikes and you're out. There's 3 outs and the inning ends, or the half of the inning ends. And then there is a bottom half of that inning that is the equalizer. So it's not complete. It's not a complete ritual cycle per se until both innings, half innings have completed. And you get a chance to score, and then the other team gets their chance to score, and then the frame moves to the next. And there are 9 versions of those 9 innings. Okay. So we'll start there with this weirdness, because like I said, it is a strange thing to kind of kick off and be troubled mindsy about. But as we get more into this, you'll start to see that there's a lot to it. And it is, what do they call it? A national pastime, and recognize it's the only game on right now. There's no basketball, there's no hockey, there's no anything. It's just the All-Star game. And during the All-Star break, traditionally, there's nothing playing. It's just this. It's just a strange thing that, like I said, the odd duck version of sports that really doesn't fit the mold for anything else. Anyway, let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsor. In this case, it's Human Inspiration. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds in exactly 1 minute. We're here with Herschel Sterling tonight of Easy Topian Podcast, and we will be taking your calls. But I'm going to get more into this and make the case with the 369 stuff, energy, frequency, vibration, and these Masonic connections, because it might make your tinfoil tingle. Don't go anywhere. Be right back in exactly 1 minute. More Troubled Minds on the way.
In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable.
So here I sit, locked in my room again.
Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? I'm not sure what's going on. Is that do you have headphones on, Herschel? Because there's sound coming through on your channel there. I don't know what that is. I wasn't sure if it was an echo, or did you guys hear echo?
Are you getting an echo from me?
Yeah, I see it. I just see it. I don't hear it that much, but let me ask the chat. You guys, if you guys are hearing an echo, let me know. Just as an FYI there, because I see it coming through on the meter, but I don't know if because I don't hear it. But anyway, so please let us know in the chat if the echo's coming through, and we'll see if we can do something about that. Okay. Anyway, now back to this, back to the weirdness of this. Okay, so 369, like I said, so there's the 3 outs in an inning. There's 9 innings. 9 times 3 is 27. There's 27 total outs, and it suddenly starts to look like this very strange game. Okay, that's not. Like I said, it doesn't fit the mold of anything else. There's no times. As Herschel said, it's kind of a non-contact sport, which is, hockey, baseball, all these modern things, even basketball to some degree is a contact sport. And so it sits in a weird spot, okay? But check it out. So, and they say this isn't coincidental. So Masonic teachings revere sacred geometry as a pathway to enlightenment. And so I'm making the case as baseball as a ritual, baseball itself. With the square and compass as tools for building both literal temples and metaphorical moral character. In baseball, the batter's journey around the bases can be seen as an allegorical initiation, starting at home, the profane world, advancing through challenges, bases, or degrees as trials. Of course, that's first base, second base, third base, and returning home or enlightenment or rebirth, as these are described. The outfield's checkered mowing patterns in modern stadiums even evoke the Masonic Lodge's mosaic pavement, symbolizing the duality of light and dark in life. Such designs appear in public spaces influenced by Masons, like Washington, D.C.'s layout, suggesting baseball fields are subtle extensions of this symbolic tradition. And so the question for you guys tonight, do you think that this is, some creative thinking? Or do you think that maybe some of these old sports are
really rituals that have kind of been cooked into what we've been dealing with pretty much forever as modern rituals, not just, let's say, baseball being a strange one because of all the reasons laid out. And there's more, of course. Or do you think it's just some, modern reinterpretation and, being weird and troubled mindsy, or et cetera, so on? Anything on that, Herschel? I'm not sure if do we get that? How you doing? What's up? My audio's fading out a bit. Okay, here we go. All right, thank you. Let's see. Fading a bit, and his is feeding through. It's not bad though. Okay. Yeah, I do hear me coming through just a smidge on you, Herschel.
No, I'm saying I'm feeling like I say we let this roll and stick on this conversation rather than trying to get into the aspects of the play in the game, and I'm along for the ride because this is really interesting to me because I've never considered these things. So if something comes up that I feel like I can contribute, I will. Or if somebody later on, it gets bored and they want to ask a question or something like that, I'll take it. But mostly, I'm like everybody else tonight. I'm along for the ride. I'm going to keep my mic off until it's necessary.
Okay. So, all right. So let me introduce this as well. So the other bizarre part of this game that I've always recognized this as something that with baseball in particular is that it's the result itself is the pitch. Okay. It is the action, the sequence of events that change things. And it is not, like I said, it's not a clock. You're not waiting for, the countdown or something. And they've added a pitch clock recently, which really sucks because it's, changed pitch. Okay. It is the action, the sequence of events, seeing this collapse of the observer effect, right? The observer effect, right? The observed. The losing team would be sacrificed. Okay. So it was clearly a ritual sport, but also it was potentiality collapsing into actuality. The potentiality could be anything. This team could run up the score and win 100-0 or vice versa. Well, but you don't know what happens until everything happens in front of you, until that D&D die roll kind of cements the what if situations into the moment of what happened and what continues to happen. So it's a weird way of looking at this, but I do think that it is kind of in the ritualistic sense of this, part of what really makes not just baseball, but any sport really exactly part of the ritual, that kind of moment in terms of celebrating what becomes fact, what becomes the competition, the competitive aspect of this. Back to this now. So Freemasonry places profound emphasis on numerology, particularly multiples of 3, which represent the triad of wisdom, strength, and beauty. This is from the Grok write-up. Link is in the Discord. Herschel dropped it in there a couple days ago. So wisdom, strength, and beauty. Okay, multiples of 3, the triad of wisdom, or the 3 degrees of the Blue Lodge. Entered apprentice, fellow craft, master mason. And by the way, I'm not a mason, so I'm not. When I say these things, I'm saying these things based on another reference or another source here. So if you guys know anything about this and want to correct me, I'd love to hear it because that's how we do this. We learn together. But anyway, so baseball is saturated with these, again, 3, 6, and 9. Like I said, 3 strikes per out, 3 outs per inning. There's 9 fielders, 9 innings, 27 total outs per game. And historically, this is an interesting one too, 81 home and 81 away games, which both, of course, are 9 times 9. So these aren't arbitrary, of course. In Masonry, 9 derives its sanctity from being 3 times 3, symbolizing completeness and the product of divine trinities. Osiris, Isis, Horus, and occult traditions echoed in this Masonic lore we're talking about tonight. Multiplying by 9 always reduces to 9. For instance, 9 times 9 is 81. Then take the 8 plus 1, and that equals 9, reduces to 9. A magic property sort of highlighting these eternal cycles as part of the game. Now, another thing that I've always thought about baseball, poker is similar to, by the way, we can get to that in a sec, but is that when you're playing baseball, it is about, of course, doing the right thing in the moment, right? Except what I mean by that is that, where was I headed? Where was I headed with that? you could do the exact right thing. Okay, you could be, let's say, hitting, and you read the pitch perfectly, you put the perfect swing on it, and you spank the hell out of that ball, and it goes screaming into the outfield, except the launch angle was not quite high enough, and it didn't go out, and it's an out. You make an out. Okay, you did everything perfectly. You did everything right, but you made an out. And maybe even in a big moment. Okay, you see what I mean? And so it's always dawned on me as part of that if you continue to do that over and over and over again, suddenly that type of thing becomes you become a stud. You're an all-star because you're spanking the ball hard all the time like you should be. But in the biggest of moments, you can't win them all. So to me, baseball's always kind of been in that sense a metaphor for life, that if you continue to just do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, you're not going to win them all. You'll spank the ball hard sometimes and just right into a glove somewhere, and it's an out. And so you failed in the moment. However, you keep doing the right thing, and eventually those rewards come to you. Anything on that, Herschel? I got you unmuted there. I heard you. Go right ahead if you got anything on that.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up something about the pitch clock. That really does change the game. One of the nice things about baseball is it's kind of like a battle of wills between the pitcher and the hitter. And you do things while you're a hitter to try to break the concentration or break the rhythm of the pitcher. And they're trying to take that out of the game by doing the pitch clock. They're not trying to, but they're kind of taking some of that gamesmanship out of the game. When they put the pitch clock in, it kind of speeds things up in a kind of an unnatural way, and it takes some of that mental strategy away from the game. So there's some of the will I think they're trying to control that, and I'm opposed to it myself. And it hasn't changed anything in terms of the lengths of the game. They said it's going to speed the game up. All they do is they run more commercials in between innings. That's all that is. That's what it is.
Exactly. And you literally got very quiet. I pumped you to 200%. So just so you know, speak up a little bit, please, or whatever you're doing there.
Okay. And is that better? Or?
Better, yes.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to bring up, you said something about the beauty of the game. There's a quote by Bowie Kuhn, who was the baseball commissioner for many years. When we were kids, he was the baseball commissioner. And this is a quote that I have, that I committed to memory when I was a little boy. Baseball is the supreme performing art. It combines in perfect harmony the magnificent features of ballet, drama, art, and ingenuity. And it really is a game like that. And the other thing that you said was you can do things perfectly right and be wrong. Like, it's much better to do in baseball to do the right thing the wrong way than it is to do the wrong thing the right way. And that's the difference between a mistake and an error. Everybody makes errors, but mistakes is what gets people hurt, and mistakes is what loses games. Errors are normal. Errors happen. You just have a physical glitch or just something like that. But if you do the wrong thing, you can hurt somebody, because these guys are going 100%. They're throwing the baseball around the field 90 miles an hour. The ball's coming within inches of their bodies. They're running past one another within centimeters of their bodies. Sometimes they brush up against each other, and they're running like 40 miles an hour. So it's a game of fractions, and it's much better to do the wrong thing the right way than it is to do the right thing the wrong way.
Well said. Well said. That puts us right about time for a break. We're going to be back and talk about more of this, more of the Masonic connection. Do you think that games like this can be sacred? Do you think that it could be a ritual? How weird is it? And are we just dreaming and making things up to entertain ourselves? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. More on the way. We are here with Herschel Sterling tonight at Easy Utopian and taking your calls. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds coming up.
troubled mind, the words they cast, heavy shadows from the past. A restless heart, a searching soul, seeking space to become whole. Troubled minds find open sky through every tear and every sigh. We rise, we fall, wings unfurled, more than labels in this world. In crowded streets or empty rooms, our echoes chase away the gloom. A spark of hope, a whispered truth, a shared melody, our fountain of youth. We're more than static on the line, singing louder than the signs. In every chord, we claim our part, beating drums match the heart. Grab the strings, we tune the stars. Punk rock anthems heal the scars. A blended mix of rage and art, painting freedom, that's just the start. Troubled minds take the stage. In every note, we break the cage. We rise, we fall, but carry on. Sing our truth until the dawn. In the quiet after the song, echoes of our rights and wrongs. But the music speaks for peace, in the chords we find release. Troubled minds now rest at ease, with every breath we seize release. We stand, we soar into the light, our anthem roar into the night.
Yes, the rumor is true. That song has won a negative Grammy. What's up, Race, if you're out there? What's up? Thanks, Herschel, for being here. I saw that went to headphones. I got you muted here. What's up, Ricky, Matsal, Gaston, JJ, Mango, APOC, Daryl, Sweets, Dawn, and Michael W. What's happening, folks? Over to Rumble. I see you guys. What is up? Wow, lots of chat. Theo is back. What's up, Sweets? Theo, Gordo, I see you. Who is here? Hiker, how you doing? What's happening, folks? YY, hello. Hope everybody's well tonight. Gordo was first over there, of course. Hello. If I missed you, just say hi, and I'll try and get you in as we go. And Raz is here. Raz says this: sports were always intended to distract the masses, so I wouldn't be surprised if they threw in a bunch of Masonic symbolism, even if it was just for an inside joke to the ones in the know. Maybe, right? Yeah. So you guys tell me what you think, and here we go. Troubled Minds coming up, and love to hear your thoughts. I'll say hi to YouTube on the top of the hour break. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting not live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. I've killed that for the time being because the calls weren't coming through properly. What do you guys know about this? Is it possible modern sporting events are actually some sort of ritual? And in this case, of course, baseball, the sacred game I'm calling it, is has Masonic connections, not just in the way, let's say, the game is played and the rules of the game, but actually going all the way back to the beginning of the sport, the actual invention of the sport. It's like I said, it seems like a weird synchronicity type of thing, but I don't think so. I think there's probably more to this that maybe makes more sense. Maybe makes a bunch more sense, at least to me. Look, I'm a baseball nerd. I always have been. I'm not as talented as Herschel there. I hurt myself early when I was young and didn't actually get to play. I still have elbow troubles in both elbows. No, I was never good enough or healthy enough, basically, to get good at this game. But when I played this game, I was very good at it, and it was very, very young. We're talking like 15, 16 years old, and that was it. That's what I got. And then after that, it was beer league softball. But still, right, those fast twitch skills and the game itself, like it definitely hooked me, and it's been sort of on my mind and in the background ever since as part of it. But not just because, like I said, the Masonic aspect of it, because when I was that young, I had no idea what the hell a Mason was. But suddenly, now you start to look at this through the troubled minds, lens of thought, of ideas, and it does seem to be a little bit more. I don't know, maybe a little more spooky than I ever imagined. But and I didn't recognize the whole Masonic bit when you look at the thing there again, the compass and the square, the outfield walls, kind of the arc there. I mean, it seems creepy. It seems creepy enough that they would try and sort of create some ritual based on something to that degree. But so we're here with Herschel Sterling tonight, again, of the Easytopian podcast. He's doing the wingman thing and hanging out and talking baseball and some of this other stuff. So there's a ton to get into, which I will. And the write-up is very good. If you haven't read it yet, I do recommend it. Link is going to be in the description down below. And we'll add some other stuff. But I'll get into Chronos and Kairos and time and that collapse of the wave function aspect. But let's test the audio there for Herschel. He said he went to headphones. Test. Are you there? 1, 2, welcome back.
Sound, is it better?
Keep talking a little bit, please.
Check 1, 2. Sibilance.
Better. It is better. There's no feedback there. I can turn you down a little bit now. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Welcome back to the thing. So you were talking about doing the right thing the wrong way and vice versa in baseball. Anything to add to that before I cut you off there for the break? Anything to add to that, or the metaphor for life, or any of that stuff that I was talking about before we took the break?
It's definitely a metaphor for life, in my opinion, because, if you can look really great and do terrible things, or you can look really good doing the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Everything can be perfect, but it's wrong. Like you ruined everything. You know what I mean? But if you know what the right thing to do is, and you look goofy doing it, it's still preferable to looking great doing the wrong thing, because that's how the right thing happens. It's one of those things. And what you were talking about too, about when you said that you kind of made that point. You can do everything perfect. Your swing can be right on the nail, and it just like you just hit everything just right, and your reflexes, your reaction time is on point, and you just hit a line drive right to a guy who happens to be doing the right thing the right way also. So it's true. It's totally true, man.
And you make the out, and you're out. Yeah, just the same. Well, and again, but this is what happens in the new era. If you guys are baseball nerds, they call it the StatCast era. They're tracking exit velocities on this type of stuff. They're on a batted ball. They're tracking a spin rate on curveballs and fastballs. I mean, it's incredible how much like big data has really kind of changed the game. And that happened with, if you guys are Moneyball fans, again, I'm an A's fan, as you know, grew up over there in the East Bay in California, grew up watching Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire hit home runs into the bleachers when I was young. I was lucky enough to kind of live during that era there, the steroid era, as they call it. But my brother and I used to take Bart out to the games, and had a good time doing that stuff. But me bringing that up, the point is that it's this whole aspect of that metaphor for life. You can see it. You can see it playing out right in front of you. And like I said, the StatCast era, those things don't lie. Like if your exit velocity is top 5% in the entire league, you're a monster. But you could be a monster for an entire month and just be smashing the hell out of the ball and only get like 5 hits all month type of stuff, because you just get unlucky. It happens. But eventually, as that metaphor for life, that stuff evens out and the success starts to come because you are doing enough things correctly where it starts to translate. It translates to results. So it's an interesting game. And there's a lot of people that, speaking of an update, 6-4, it was 6-0 National League, but Brent Rooker, my boy from the Athletics, hit a 3-run homer. So it's now 6-4 in the bottom of the 7th. So
we're catching up here, American League. But anyway, that ends the sports ball updates for the night, or until the game ends.
Jacob Wilson was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Jacob Wilson was pretty cool. He did a cool thing.
I didn't see that, but
well, he did a cool thing in the game.
I didn't see that. What happened?
Well, they're testing out a new feature where, I mean, for people who don't know, Jacob Wilson is a rookie, and he's starting in the All-Star game in his rookie season, and he plays for the A's, and he's phenomenal, and he has got confidence and swagger like nobody's business, which you need to have in that game. And he was up to bat, and they tested out a new feature, which is using AI balls and strikes. And he got a strike called on him, and he challenged it, and he got the call turned over as a rookie in the All-Star game. That is just the word. I'm going to be nice, and I'm not going to use the word, but he has things.
He definitely has an unbelievable hand-eye coordination aspect to that. But yeah, so beyond the baseball thing. Now back to that metaphor for life and the rest of it. It's an interesting thing too. I brought up poker, and poker is the same way. So if you get all the money in and you're ahead, that's where you want to be. But poker is one of those games where it is, you're never truly like it's a lock. Ahead is like 70-30. Very, very far ahead's like 80-20. And so that means you're going to lose 30% of the time. You're going to lose 20% of the time, even if you're always ahead. And so some of those things, again, doing everything right kind of translates to, and as you guys know, I've played poker for a while for a living, so I'm very familiar with that game. And that's when it dawned on me that if you continue to do the right thing over and over and over again, well, you're a monster, the same as baseball. And that's when it kind of stuck in my head as baseball is a metaphor for life, as is, again, and poker's a little more scummy because it's people sitting around a table sweating and trying to take each other's money. But in a similar sense, you do the right thing over and over and over again, and you're going to get some bad luck. But again, if you're making the right moves, those results will come as part of it, right? And as I always say too, and this is the basis, one of the actual bases of when I describe and I say to you guys, I don't believe in luck. I believe in momentum, because that's exactly the point. Anybody can have bad luck, but if you pick yourself up and dust yourself off and then try it again, and then try it again, and then try it again, and suddenly that statistical noise becomes truth. It becomes, well, okay, you're doing this consistently. You're showing up, and even though you fell on your face a couple times, maybe you started out unlucky. And that happens a lot too. They got these players called quadruple A players. We'll get to that another time, where they don't get enough time in the big leagues to prove themselves. But in AAA, which is the league below the big leagues, they smash the hell out of that league. So they're ready, except they don't really get the time necessary to kind of find their footing in the big leagues, which is anyway. So back to this. Now, the sacred game, I'm calling this again, the sacred game. And I said a long time ago when we should do this show, this is God's game. Okay. And like I said, 369, don't forget Tesla, that he said energy, frequency, vibration. That's the secret to the universe. Okay. And those particular numbers. But in this case, those numbers are the basis for this actual game. Again, 9 innings, 27 outs, all the stuff, right? All the weird things that I was reading before as part of it. But let's continue as part of that. So, 81 home games, 81 away games. That's 9 times 9, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the sequence 369 fits seamlessly, as I was just describing. So 6 is 3 times 2, duality amplified, and 9 is 3 times 3, forming a progression tied to Nikola Tesla's fascination with these digits as keys to the universe. Okay. And that's why I dubbed this in the past God's game. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, small g God. Okay. Anyway, but also that Masonic connection makes you wonder, right? But anyway, okay. So back to this. In baseball, this manifests subtly. A full count is 3 and 2, 3 balls, 2 strikes, but it escalates to strikes, outs, and 3s. And the pitcher's mound is 60 feet, 6 inches from home plate, which is, again, seems very specific, right? 60 feet, 6 inches. And it's, again, 6 plus 0 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3, or 60'6" as 666 in some conspiratorial reads. As usual, the math is bizarre. I'm not sure why the 60 foot 6 inches became that exact spot, but it almost feels as if it was very specific in that regard, or in some regard. I don't really know. The 27 outs per game, 3 cubed, directly evokes Masonic veneration of 27 as that 3 times 9. Okay. The 27 and a higher sacred. Okay, hold on. Let me get back to my spot. Blah, 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 blah. 3 times 9, a higher sacred number for advanced degrees. And that's in Freemasonry. Like I said, if you guys know anything about this and want to correct me, that's cool because, I forgot all the disclaimers. There's no truth to be found here, just ideas, all the stuff. Okay. Especially since I'm not even a Mason and barely understand any of this stuff. But anyway, so even the immaculate inning, and this is 3 batters out on exactly 9 pitches. And Justin Verlander is one of the ones that's kind of been famous for doing this. You just throw 3 strikes, batters out. 3 strikes, next batter's out. 3 strikes, next batter's out. That's called an immaculate inning. But it ties back into this statistical thing that is that Masonic perfection. And again, 369, the symbolism. Of course, this could all be a coincidence, right? But I think the difference between baseball and these other actual sports, like I said, the clock, we'll get to the clock too. There's a deep dive on the clock from the write-up, which I'll read directly because it's very good. But it's definitely an odd duck. And so to me, not just symbolically, I think there's something more to the game that makes you go, right, I wonder if this is a ritual or some level of ritual aspect. I'm not really sure. Anything on any of that, Herschel? I got tons of stuff, of course, but I've been talking a lot here, and you're sitting there, and welcome to the joint.
Well, ritual does play into the game for a lot of people. You'll notice that a lot of ball players have superstitions, and there's a physiological aspect to that where you'll see a pitcher come up to the batter's box and he has a specific thing that he does every time. And it's not so much superstition as it is trying to develop a physiological pattern. I do this thing, I do this thing, I do this thing, and then I hit the ball. I do this thing, I do this thing, I do this thing, and I hit the ball. And it just becomes like a pattern, like you're trying to groove a path in your brain. When I make this action, I make this action, I make this action, my body sees the ball and I hit it. It's more like that than it is a superstition.
Yeah,
but there are other superstitions like the manager. When the manager comes out to make a pitching change, he doesn't step on the foul line. You never step on the foul line. You never step on that white line. You always step over it when you're coming on and off the field. That's definitely kind of an unspoken rule, and it's just a tradition.
Exactly. And we even did that in Little League. And that's the thing too. Clearly it's a housekeeping thing because, you gotta make the white line, you gotta chalk it up and everything. And it takes some work to do it. So you don't want to mess it up, but also you'll see it as a very superstitious thing. And you'll see it in the big leagues. They do it. They step over the line. You'll see the pitcher coming off the field will jump over the line. They won't step on it directly because, of course, in that superstitious aspect, luck is a fickle beast. And especially with baseball too, luck plays in every sport. A wrong bounce or whatever in football, or a lucky tip or something could change the entire course of the game. But baseball in particular it's riddled with luck and riddled with these weird momentum swings and changes that if you've ever played or watched the game, you could be cruising along at winning 7-0, but then just something turns like the wind, right? It gets dark and the energy becomes infused with a comeback, and then suddenly there's a 3-run homer by Brent Rooker, and then there's a couple bloop singles, and then a triple, and then suddenly you're back in the game. And it's weird too when you're in the field and those things are happening. You're like, okay, we just need one more out, we'll just seal this up. But then that out just never comes. It's like the next thing, the next hitter gets on base, and the next hitter. It's a crazy thing, the momentum swings in sports, and I'm sure there's probably a deep psychological dive into that. But I wonder more about the synchronicity engine as part of those momentum swings. I mean, you can't really quantify them directly in modern physics or science or anything because it starts to get super woo. But this is Troubled Minds, so we're going to get super woo as part of it. But that aspect of, and I'm sure you've seen this, Herschel, where there's that sort of momentum swing. It seems like the tide has turned in an insurmountable way, even when you're ahead. You ever experienced that? What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, yeah, there were a couple of teams that I was on where that would happen, and you got to have chemistry with a team. You know, you've got to know each other really well and spend a lot of time together, and you definitely get into that. Energy is definitely very real, where, you know, there's so many 2-out rallies, and that plays into the personality types that these players have. Like, everybody loves to win at that level. That's a baseline, you know, personality trait. You love to win, but the trait that really matters is hating to lose. So all of these guys at the major league level are the guys who hate to make the third out of an inning. They hate to strike out. They hate to leave a runner on base when he could score. They you know, really despise that feeling. They don't want that feeling of being the guy that makes the last out. They want to be the guy that does the thing, of course, but they, more importantly, don't want to be the guy who doesn't do the thing. And that is a personality trait. Like, it's one thing to love winning, but it's another thing to hate losing. And that is a trait that every single one of these guys have. So when they get into that momentum as a team, it's pretty unstoppable. You win and lose as a team. As much as it is a sport of individuals, you win and lose as a team. That's 100%. That is 100% true.
Yeah, and I do wonder if there's some level of, you know, let's say you got teammates that are kind of downers. They're always like, "Oh, here we go," you know. Now this is going to happen. I wonder if that energy kind of seeps into that team effect, and maybe allows the energy.
There aren't any guys like that. There aren't any.
Go ahead.
There aren't any guys like that at that level. They all have smiles on their faces. They're so happy to be there. They know how lucky they are and how rare they are as athletes. They're in a very, very narrow percentile of reflex reaction time, and they know it, and they know they belong there, and they are not sad.
Baseball will be good to me, as Sammy Sosa used to say, and many others as well. And yeah, clearly that it's playing a sport like that. It's a dream come true. These people are making tons of money. So I agree with you 100%, but you just know when somebody's kind of got a foul attitude is kind of my point, right? Like you said, that gel of the team, the camaraderie, there's a space for that. And I don't know, maybe you do got a Debbie Downer on the team that kind of brings, lets the other team energy seep in. I don't know, just kind of throwing it out there as like a, maybe a psychological play on how you would measure that in 2025, how you measure momentum. Maybe it's, you know, sort of if you seal it off, maybe statistically it's I don't know, maybe it's measurable. That's kind of my point. I don't know, but anyway, just throwing it out there as an idea, because why the hell not?
Yeah, well, I can tell you this: when I played on the utility team that I played on, it was a rehab team. They rehabbed a lot of minor leaguers and a few major leaguers, and I played on that team, and I was somebody who was being evaluated. And one of the things I benched up with a couple of guys who were really very, like, at a completely different level of play than I was, just really something else. And we had this one coach who was a jerk, and all he ever did was insult everybody. And I remember leaning over to one of the guys I benched up with, and I said, I just want to slug that guy. I mean, he just never has anything good to say to anybody. And he said, that's why he's there. He's testing your mettle. He's seeing what you're made of. He's seeing, that was literally part of that guy's job, was to try to get under a guy's skin to see how they responded to that and what they did, or whether they could brush it off or not. They're testing your personality. And that's what that guy told me. And that made a big difference when he told me that. It helped me so much, because I just didn't let the guy bother me anymore, because I knew he was just testing me. I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's true. They do that. They test you out. They really, really test you out. They don't. It's a lot of money in that sport, and they really, really, really work you and test you and find out what you're made of.
Yeah, it is one of those sports where, you know, you end up talking to yourself, right? Like you swing at a fastball that's a slider, and you swore it was a fastball, and so you kind of like end up, you see these guys doing, the major leaguers doing it, muttering to themselves, kind of just talking to themselves on the way back to the dugout, like, Like how did that happen? How did I miss that by a week? Like I had no chance of taking 10 swings and hitting that. And like it gets you talking to yourself, doubting yourself. And it is one of those things you have to have sort of that braggadocio attitude as part of it. You the swagger and belief in yourself, because like I said, even when you're going good, bloops hits fall, which should be outs. But then when you're not going good, when you hit screamers, they find mitts and you're out anyway. It's a weird thing. Like I said, back to that metaphor for life. It's an interesting concept. So we're going to get into the time aspect of it as well. Like I said, if you're into the write-up, do check it out. It is very good and it is very on point. And we're going to get into coming up after the break here. We're going to get into we got Derek the Night Stalker with his hand up. We'll talk to him. But as we go, we're going to get into the Masonic origins of this game. That it was actually maybe built as this ritual aspect of what. And think of it this way too, as the United States of America, we're approaching 250 years next year, is that this is America's game. This is America's pastime, as it's always been called, as long as this game has been around, since the late 1800s. And so, I don't know, it's a weird aspect where you kind of look at these ideas and think about energy, think about maybe the esoteric aspect of that energy, frequency, and vibration, and all the things we're talking about, the metaphor for life, the weirdness with the Nikola Tesla stuff, the Masonic connections. There's a ton here, which we'll get to. It's probably best if I just read chunks of the write-up because it's that good. I'm not sure if you got a chance to check it out, Hirsch, but it's very good. And so anyway, do you guys think this is possible? And do you think that maybe sort of the energy aspect of not just baseball, but sports in general kind of mirrors, I would say, the Coliseum of old, except, the blood sports of old, except, luckily we're not killing each other in 2025 as the stadium fills up and we're, cheering on the death and destruction of whatever's going on down there. But so that's changed, certainly. But also that ritual sacrifice aspect of it has also kind of not. There's a term in baseball, by the way, called a sacrifice fly or a sacrifice bunt. Kind of makes you go, that's an interesting way to put it. You give yourself up to move a runner over or score a run in that particular space. It is a very team aspect, but the sacrifice fly or the sacrifice bunt, just the term itself kind of makes you raise an eyebrow and think, like I said, 15-year-old me didn't think so. 50-year-old me is like, wait a minute here. What the hell's actually going on? So anyway, what do you guys know about it? Like I said, and I completely get it if you check out and you're like, nope, not doing baseball, Mike, not doing sports ball. Cool. We'll see you on Thursday talking about some other weird and wild stuff. But the actual connection here to not just the Masonic stuff when it began, which we will get to, really raised my eyebrows when I started reading about it. I was like, whoa, there's a ton of stuff here that seems as if this is a ritual. And not just a ritual, the ritual that maybe goes all the way back to the same 1776 energy that we're approaching 250 years next year, July 4th. I don't know. The culmination of energies, the All-Star game next year being, I don't know. Anyway, you guys tell me. As usual, I don't know the answers. I just have questions and ideas, and love to hear your thoughts if you want to be part of the conversation tonight, or if you have a question for Herschel or myself or whatever, pop on in here, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. But I will not deny it. Baseball is something that I've loved since I was very young. But why? That becomes the question, right? For me. And the more I think about it, the more I recognize it's an odd duck. It's not like every other sport out there. Soccer, hockey, football with the clock and the goal and the goal. Right, that whole bit? No, it's not a thing. I don't know, it's weird. There's something about it. Am I wrong? Am I right? Somewhere in between. 702-957-1037. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. We got more from Herschel, Derek the Night Stalker, and your calls as well. Be right back.
Shadows. We've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Where shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everlights. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten well. In the realm where the myths collide, with hidden lore our fates are tied. Signals bouncing off the astral plane, invisible codes that can't be tamed. We decode the stars under the midnight veil, a stain in silken sweats midnight. In the echoes of time where the legends lay, we tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient youth. We seek the truth, nothing can hide.
Indeed. What's up, guys? We got Derek the Night Stalker coming up. Over to YouTube. What's up, Christy? Got first over there. What's going on? Sweets Mango. That's Puff. What's up, RC? Stephen England. I see you guys. Shane, the Blind Psychonaut. Good evening, guys. Hello, hello. Sorry for taking so long to get over and say good evening and hello to you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Cheer Sports show up next. Troubled Minds episode. What is Cheer Sports? Hearing an echo. Yep, sorry about that. We're good. My mom. My uncle got drafted by the Indians for pitching, but hurt his arm. Yeah, right. Nice big baseball family. We'll talk to Derek in a moment about that. Never did enjoy watching commercialized sports, says RC. Yeah, I feel you. I get it. In the modern day, it's just all the dumb commercials they play and stuff. It's just okay, echo at the beginning. It's gone now. Thanks for the audio feedback. I see you guys. If I missed you, just say hi. I'll say hi back to my best. Richard in Texas. How you doing? Good evening. Dawn is here. What's happening, folks? RC says, as a kid, as soon as I realized players get traded from team to team, it's ran like a business, is when I lost interest. Yeah, that's the other aspect too. We could get into that a little bit, is sort of the generational talent that stays on the team doesn't exist anymore. And it used to be a thing. It's not a thing anymore. But Mr. Mission Control, Celia. Yeah, no mud floods tonight. Sorry about that. Another time, maybe. What's going on? Hello, good evening. If I missed you, just say hi. I'll say hi back, and trying to keep up with everybody. Ioxy's here. Good evening. Hello. And as usual, right? So I'll trim this out, and it ends up a nice sequence of events. And the pitch timer trips me out every time. Yeah, and the auto robot umps too. So we'll get to that. It's like sort of the Men in Black. It's like the judge and jury, like in one person. We'll talk about that when we get back as well. There's a lot to this. Like I said, the write-up is very good if you're interested in baseball, or if you're not, kind of the esoteric connections, because it seems like there's a lot here. Like I said, you don't even have to be interested in the game to kind of see some of the stuff. Squint your eyes and use your imagination, and you'll see. Here we go. Trouble Minds coming up. More from her show. We got Derek the Night Stalker coming up, and your calls as well. What do you know? Is baseball the sacred game? Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting, or will be some other time on the KUAP Digital Broadcasting and 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand, but we're not tonight. Radio problems, issues, technical problems. Anyway, so how about this? Could a game played under stadium lights truly echo the rituals of ancient temples? Is it possible that every pitch, every inning, every cheer masks an esoteric structure designed to reflect hidden truths about time, initiation, and cosmic order? Or are we just playing ball on sacred ground without knowing it? And that's what we're talking about tonight. It's fitting that tonight is the All-Star game, and there's no other major sports happening. There's no NBA, there's no NHL, there's no anything. There's no NFL. Right now, the only major professional sport in the United States is the All-Star game. Baseball. That's it. It's an interesting sequence of events, but what does it mean? Nothing? Something? Somewhere in between? And like I said, as we go, we'll get to the Masonic connections and the beginnings of the game, which, like I said, the 369 stuff just by itself kind of makes you scratch your chin and go, WTF. Love to hear your thoughts. If you want to be part of the conversation, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll get back to Hang Tight Herschel 1 second. Let's go to our boy. We all know him. We love him. Derek in Massachusetts. What's happening? How are you, my man? Welcome to the joint. Just chilling, doing stuff. I kind of knew this one would be tepid because not everybody's a baseball fan or whatever. That's fine, but it is a weird thing, right? So you said you're from a big baseball family, and I know you're a big basketball fan as well. So there's a lot of things happening in terms of the timing of these games. Like one has a clock, one does not. And the pitch clock, like you said, kind of creeps me out, creeps you out. It doesn't, a clock doesn't belong in baseball, but take it anywhere you like. There's so many angles to look at this from. And, I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think it is a ritual? And I'm talking to Mr. Ritual. So I'm going to guess you're going to say maybe, but anyway, I don't want to steal your thunder. Go right ahead.
Yeah. I mean, a solid maybe for sure. Yeah, this is a fun one. I don't have a ton of baseball knowledge. I played for a few years, like when I was very young, like maybe like 6 years through like the T-ball age and the times where the coaches are still pitching to us and stuff. And maybe like 1 or 2 years where like in the early minors or whatever. But my grandfather, who just passed away, he coached for like 55 years and won like 20 local championships, and they named the field after him in the town near me. And his son, my uncle, my mom's brother, was drafted by the Cleveland Indians, and then he had like Tommy John, and he hurt himself, so he couldn't keep playing. But they love it. Like my mom watches every single pitch of the Red Sox, so I see a lot just like passing by the TV and everything. And but I had to do a lot of Googling. I didn't really I don't have a ton of knowledge about this, but you guys got me thinking about the hand signals and the superstitions, and like my uncle apparently had that. Like he would open the same cabinet doors that he would like every morning of a game, and do all these crazy superstitions that throughout the entire day. Like obviously the same socks and the kind of the funny ones that everybody knows about, but just if he had a good game one day, he would repeat basically the entire morning. And then I'm a Red Sox fan, so there's like Nomar had the classic. He would constantly be messing with his bat and gloves and everything, and there's all kind of weird neuroses that go into the game. And to think about a ritual basis of that is cool. I got a few things here, one thing to read from Reddit. But what do you think?
Yeah, regarding Nomar, the weird toe tap, he did like the weird. He had these this weird, super weird thing. Nomar Garcia. Exactly. Also, too, speaking of the Red Sox, going way back to the 80s, this is before you were born, but there was another super famous Red Sox that actually was had a very similar ritual, or not like Nomar, with the sort of weird kind of hands and motions and toe tappings and whatnot before every pitch. But Wade Boggs supposedly ate chicken before every single game because. Oh,
wow, I don't know.
Yeah. You probably know the name Wade Boggs, being a Red Sox guy.
For sure.
Yeah, but he ate chicken before every single game because clearly one time he didn't, and he had a terrible game. So right, this is the weird superstitious stuff that kind of catches up to you and keeps you sort of locked in these cycles. And it does make me wonder how much of that kind of plays into not just muscle memory or the ideas that we're talking about, and momentum. And like I said, I don't believe in luck. I believe in momentum. And these types of things, how much it actually would play into a competitive sport at the highest level. I don't know, because I've never been there. And I still need Tommy John, by the way. I need an elbow reconstructive surgery, but I'm 50, and so there's no chance of that ever happening now. But anyway, I'm not going to throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball anytime soon. But yeah, Wade Boggs and... yeah, the chicken thing. It's a thing. Weird.
Yeah. it makes me think. It definitely seems to be. I can go on for a while about momentum in sports, and like if I was to think that sports aren't rigged, I think I would go into like the metaphysics of momentum and all that kind of stuff. But the superstition and the kind of delicacy in which the players go through the routine seems like that they understand that there's some kind of weird whirling energy that's amongst the game, and that they have to kind of treat it with kid gloves, or else they won't be able to kind of harness that energy when the time comes. You know, that you can only do so much preparing, but at the end of the day, this is a kind of a wild flame that you got to kind of try to stoke to the way you want it. I don't know, but with the hand signals, it got me thinking about the hand signs too, like the calling the pitch calls and the signals from the different, like the third base coach or whatever, to like the secret signs, and the idea of like Masons having secret handshakes and secret symbolism. I wonder if there's a origin connecting that. But then the kind of the these are just random notes here, but just like the energy in the stands and the kind of rituals amongst the fans. Like there's the 7th inning stretch where everyone stands up at the same time. That's kind of a weird performative ritual. When I think about the being in the stands of a baseball game, obviously they do this everywhere, but the wave, I feel like, is a baseball, like had its origins in baseball, where everyone kind of stands up and has that kind of, you see the energy moving through the people as the wave moves around the stadium, which is kind of cool. And then, like, as far as the influence, I was thinking about this for some reason. Somebody mentioned "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" a few weeks ago as being like potentially one of the only 1800 songs to kind of stick around. And I'm thinking like it's probably by far the most in 2025, the most popular song from the 1800s might be "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," which I think is kind of like, it's one of those things that kind of, I haven't sung it in years, but I would probably know every word to it right now. It's just ingrained in us in a weird way as far as America's pastimes. And then a couple notes here, like it says that Abner Doubleday was credited for inventing baseball, but usually or often Alexander Joy Cartwright is referred to as the father of baseball. He's a Mason. And just some random Mason stuff here. There's Masons for Mitts is a Freemason organization that raises money for MLB foundations and everything. From Reddit, there's a thing saying that the game contains 27 outs per team per game, which is the number of the Black Cube. Which I didn't know that was the number of the Black Cube. I knew about the 27 Club, but I didn't realize there's a number of the Black Cube. What do you think about that, real quick? But then I got a quick thing to read. But
I didn't know either the Black Cube. That like this turns it into a whole different conversation in that regard, as some sort of like death ritual or something. But the 27 Club too that you brought up, like certainly fits. Again, that number, right? Again, 2 and 7 equals 9. It boils down to 9, like we were talking about. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 home games, 81 away games. It's a very specific thing, right? It could have been 100 games. It could have been sort of these round numbers, and it's not. It's 90 feet. It's 60 feet 6 inches. It's just so strange how all this kind of cooks back into exactly this sacredness, or the sacred game as part of it. I don't know, and maybe even, well, I don't know. That's my take on that. There's a ton more, of course, which I'll get to. But what you're describing with those two entities, the individuals that were credited with creating baseball. One mythologically, and the other actually was a Mason. So, I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of there's one picture I posted in the Discord, but there's there's a just right on Front Street Mason baseball connection. Like the Masons are embracing it. It's not like a weird conspiracy. It's like if you go like freemasons.com has a bunch of articles on there, the history of baseball and everything, and they talk about how Cy Young and Ty Cobb and all these like Babe Ruth and everything were Roger Hornsby, Honus Wagner, they were all popular Freemasons, or prominent Freemasons. And there was in 1935, there was a Masonic game played in Trenton, New Jersey, between National League and American League players, where they were all Freemasons, organized by Trenton's Tall Cedars of Lebanon Forest, number 4, which is the lodge. I mentioned the Masons for Mitch charity and stuff. Real quick, from some Reddit. So there's a few Reddit pages on this, and a lot of I just skimmed it real quick, and a lot of the comments seem like this is my line for conspiracy. It was like a lot of the comments were like, "No, I don't believe this. This is garbage. This is conspiracy nonsense and stuff." But I don't know. I kind of like it, and I'm just going to read this one thing here. If that's okay.
Yeah, love to hear it, and I kind of like it too. That's why I brought it up. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's fun. Oh, and I remember hearing this years ago. I forget who said it, but baseball, base BAAL, like ball and ball, whatever. Baseball. That's really the only thing I remember from the baseball Masonic connection. So that's why I had to look everything up. But so this is from Reddit. Like the cross, the baseball diamond is emblematic of the realm of Mater, Malkuth, which is under the dominion of Pita, aka Yaldabaoth. However, there is an interesting paradox as it relates to Pita's role in the progression of our spiritual careers. By challenging us, Pita, the pitcher, is actually helping us build the muscle and develop the hand-eye coordination that will enable us to escape the world of Maya and return to the stars from hence we come. This is the true, quote, home run. Pita pitches obstacles and challenges at us over the course of our lives, and it's our job to bat them out of the ballpark. The ballpark being Kabbalistic word for asaya, the plane of solids, liquids, and gases which we currently occupy. The bat, resembling the male sex organ that you use to accomplish this, is your pineal gland, which is a tiny pine cone-shaped organ resembling the female clitoris in the center of your brain that becomes stimulated once you become enlightened. From a different page that was also kind of very skeptical, but also had this. The narrative goes something like this. It is the spring equinox. Persephone is released from her annual bondage in Hades, and the game, much like harvest, can commence. A sacred song is rehearsed, and then the players, dressed in pure white ceremonial garbs, take their place on the sacred quadrant. The priests, dressed in blue, umpires, known as the law, and therefore ensure the ritual is rightly performed. But as spectators, our attention is turned upon the pitcher playing the part of the evil demiurge, Yahuwah Yaldabaoth. The field itself is the earth. So these two comments are aligned with each other. They both think that this Yaldabaoth, this demiurgical figure. The field itself is the earth by which the batter must navigate without obstruction in order to obtain illumination. When he steps up to home plate, it is the moment to defeat the dust he is shackled to and shine like the stars in the firmament above. The four bases represent the four elements. Home base is most obviously the earth. The third base, often referred to as the hot corner, signifying fire. Naturally, the pitcher's mound makes up the fifth element, and that is spirit. The shortstop, which is considered among the most demanding defensive positions, navigates swiftly between the spiritual planes like Hermes. I don't have who wrote this, but good Lord, like what a comment here. With the batter, we quickly arrive at the phallic aspects of the ritual. The home plate player raises the bat, which is not the law of the demiurge, but the law of Freemasonry and the sacred wand of the ancient mysteries. A gnosis, which can be known but never described. Only the most disciplined of neophytes will succeed. If he strikes out, it's because he is not successful 1/3 of the time. And the grand architect, who is also the accuser, has secured his place in the present Hades. He must then go back into the dugouts, the ancestral room by which he was formed, until he's called upon again to bat in another incarnation. Jeez Louise. The ball itself is the batter's spirit or soul. If the batter fails to vex the accuser, his spirit then naturally returns to, quote, God. If he knocks it out of the realm, then he triumphs in so much as his soul has ascended beyond the firmament prison walls of the demiurge is making. He is now immortal. Sorry for reading all that, but I just thought that was worth it.
No, it's amazing. I wish I had found that previously. I could have done some deep dives on a bunch of stuff in there.
Wild stuff. Yeah,
that's incredible. And I think, as usual, right? Like you said, conspiracy wise, you're like, nah, come on, this is ridiculous. But like I said, this game is so different than many other modern major sports that it does make my tinfoil tingle. Like I said, the more I think about sort of these old traditions of how it was created and those names, like what was the thing? So I've got this on. This is from, and I sent this to Herschel too. This is from of the 317 baseball players, Hall of Fame members. At least 58 were Freemasons, including legends like you said, this Ty Cobb, Cy Young, Honus Wagner, Rogers Hornsby. And so there's definitely, and they sponsored a lot of it, like I said in the beginning, and we'll get to that.
Crazy.
It is a crazy thing. And like I said, if you look at the actual sacred geometry aspect of it, and just look at the graphic tonight, like I asked ChatGPT to just create a graphic based on the conversation. And this is what it created. Like it literally was like, cool, sacred geometry, baseball, the Freemasonry stuff. And I mean, look where the picture is in the graphic. I mean, it's like, okay, all right. So when you can do something kind of that easily and it fits so perfectly into this larger space, it some of it makes sense, right? 6-5 National League. In the ninth inning, they got one run back.
We got a barn burner.
One run game. We got a barn burner, one out in the ninth. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, just to kind of like give the devil's advocate for why Masons are so tied into the early days of baseball. I mean, I think if you need to have kind of businessmen, you need to have movers and shakers in order to like create an organization that's going to last over 100 years and everything. So I think just in the 1800s, I mean, obviously, if you look at like American history and you realize all the founding fathers and like the important people for the first like 150 years of America were all Masons, you start to like kind of really raise your eyebrow and get suspicious. But also, you can like think of Masons in some context as like fraternities, college fraternities, and just you make connections in order to like prominent businessmen are just going to be Masons. So if you want to like look at it and that's just how things will get done. Like I'm sure if you look into basketball, it's probably the same way. Like Naismith is probably like the Naismith is probably a Mason. These people are probably all Masons, and that's how you got things done in the 1800s. But with that being said, I mean, if you are crafting a sport that has all these weird intricacies and they kind of line up so well with the modalities of this belief system that you have, it's suspicious. And I'm not like well versed in this, but speaking of like Superman being in theaters now and everything, and the Superman diamond and the baseball diamond, there's like I was listening to Tracy Twyman on Higher Side. This is like 8 years ago. But it was one of my favorite podcast episodes, and she was talking about the weird connections with the origin of Superman and how this diamond shape, and gets into like the Rothschilds and the De Beers and creation of diamonds and kind of the diamond propaganda and all that kind of stuff, but also the esoteric and occult significance of diamonds and the light of diamonds. And on the Masonic tracing boards, which are those famous, if you search Masonic tracing board, it's like they're all very similar with the two pillars and the sun and the moon, but there's also like another luminous body in the middle. That's usually like, or Tracy's theory at least, idea was that it's usually depicted as a diamond, and it's kind of this true light from outside of the universe. And the sun and the moon and whatever realm we're in is kind of this demiurgical realm, this kind of prison realm or this kind of pocket realm. And she talks about maybe even something like John Dee got into like forming universes in bottles. And this is like a pre-computer simulation type thing, but we're living inside of this weird kind of bottle universe. And that the diamond is this shape, this sacred shape that the light passes through, to then give us the realm that we're in. So like, I don't know well enough to explain it in a good way, but she basically made like it's unbelievably important. And Superman is this character that becomes a god based on the light given from the sun, and has a sacred diamond shape. And now this baseball diamond. Yeah, yada yada. That's one of the mix. So if anybody knew anything about the weird diamondness,
yeah.
But
and the Superman scene. Have you seen the new Superman?
Oh, it's awesome! Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
Really?
So
okay.
good.
Okay, so
I loved it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Plus one.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I was I'm hearing all the all the stupid political idiots that are like.
It's really not. I mean, that's just like. Yeah. I feel like those articles were written a month ago before anyone even saw it, and they were going to post them no matter what. And it's truly, it's not political at all. And it's not like I don't love the whole woke stuff, and I don't really care about it at all. But if you were somebody who really hates it, it's just there's none in it. There really is none in it. I don't know where these people are coming up with that. There's truly none in it.
It just those knuckleheads that have to have
knuckleheads.
That have to have something negative to say about every damn thing out there. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. In terms of like let's say this sport as ritual. I mean, so your take is you think sports are kind of rigged anyway. In some degree, not entirely, but
I love them. I still love them, but I love them too.
I totally love them too. But so throw out the rigged part, and what about the ritual part? Does this just become sort of a 2025 money ritual? Is what this is now, or you think it's something deeper than that, which is part of the discussion as part of that Masonic initiation connections that go way back? And is baseball different? Is baseball different than the NBA or NFL or anything else? Or is it all just commercialism in 2025?
Yeah. I would need a an extensive baseball knowledge to like have real clear examples and everything. And I could take you through kind of the entire history of basketball and kind of where, like how things that I think are organic versus inorganic and stuff. But we're talking baseball being rigged. One of the most famous betting scandals was the Black Sox betting scandal and everything that like in the early 1900s, like the mafia and like it's very easy to. I mean, it's super easy to rig baseball. It's super easy to rig football. You just need the coaches and the quarterback. Baseball, you need the umps and the pitchers. Really, I mean, basketball, you really only need the refs and the coaches, and and they call all these leagues call themselves fraternities. Like the players it's a limited fraternity. If you listen to these NBA podcasts now, they're pretty much like all these retired players are pretty much just saying it's rigged. Like if you're the underdog, if you're like the one example, Evan Turner goes, if we're the Sixers and we're going to play the 2008 Celtics and we're in Game 7, we got to know that if we're going to win this game, we got to be up by 20 in the fourth quarter, or else we have no chance. That we have to like the system is designed to have a certain outcome, and if we want to like combat that outcome, we have to like put it out of question. But for the most part, like you're just playing roles within a performance, and that reminds me of like the Masons' performative rituals and stuff, and like the coaches running out to go yell at the umps and like, oh, come on, Blue, what are you doing? Oh, come on, kicking dirt at him and stuff. Like, if you were to really go right next to him, like, I feel like half the time they go, how's your wife? Like, what's going on? Oh, great. Nice to see you. And they're really not yelling at each other, but it's just part of a performance. You're getting hyped up. You're getting the crowd going. You're getting worked up, and it's energy. It's like all these performances. It's part of the ritual. It's part of the movement stuff. I don't know. But then the Super Bowl ritual is like the biggest sports one that we talk about as a culture, and that's because everyone's watching it, so we can like understand that the power of attention and everything. But you mentioned in the beginning, like baseball is America's pastime. People base their lives around it, curate their lives around it. Like during the summer, we don't really understand it as much right now, but it's my grandfather his world was built around watching this game and caring about this game and thinking about this game. And that's so important just commercially, just like for the money of it, but then also if there's a metaphysics and a power of attention, it's obviously super important. I don't have a ton of time to go into it, but that's more just an overview. Just like if you have so many people watching this game, then you have their attention. It's like the algorithms have our attention now, and then you have a thing that's so chock full of weird motions and movements and superstitions and rituals and like intricacy, like idiosyncrasies and that type of stuff.
Superstitions, all of it.
It's ripe. It's ripe for weirdness. I just don't know enough about it to actually give specific examples. I'm sorry.
You absolutely slayed it. Game update: 2 outs, 9th inning, 2 strikes, tying runner on third base. Stephen Kwan hits a tapper to third, beats it out to first. It's a tie game. Going into extras, 9-9, or sorry,
what a game!
6-6. What a game! What a game! Almost as if exactly.
Thank you guys. Catch
Yeah, you're
play
the best.
ball.
Yeah, play ball. Appreciate the call. You're the best. That's Derek the Night Stalker. You know him, you love him. Go give him a follow. Again, Night Stalker, STOCKER. Many times he calls us from work. Stalking overnight, the best grocer in the known multiverse, as you already know. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's follow Derek. Follow the Night Stalker. It's actually Night Stalker under N. While you're there, please follow Herschel as well. It's also alphabetical Herschel. We'll get back to you, Herschel. You got some time here. Sorry to block you out for a minute, but you did say you're along for the ride, so here's the ride. We got about a minute left. Anything to add real quick? Do you want to tease for coming up? Any thoughts on that real fast? I know it's a brutal beat, or you want to wait till after the break?
I'll just say that last call and that last inning was as a result of an AI challenge. The hitter challenged, or the pitcher challenged the call from the ump, and he got the call. So AI is affecting the game, and the players love this.
I love it too.
They love it. So we can talk about that some more if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to that, because I think that
when we get back,
the man in black or whatever, the men in black, sort of like the judge's robe, and the men in blue of the umpires. We'll get back to that in a second here. Super interesting stuff to me anyway. Sorry if you guys are not interested, but love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We got Matt Sell coming up, more from Herschel. And what do you guys know about baseball? Is it a ritual? Is it Masonic? Or is this just overactive imaginations at play? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. Which button do I push? That one.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one, speak in disguise. The machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it needs to be. Through the hidden ways, in the silence, looking off their path. Those in the machines unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. In the jagged cold they find their might, guardians of a world forever in twilight. In Krishna's warriors they silently strive, protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes they haunt the trails, hideaway forests where secrets prevail. Re shadows grace they dance unseen, defenders of the unseen, digital green. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. You're teaching me what it means to be. In the silence, they speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedom's cloaked in digital shroud. As long as
Funny enough, the extra inning part of baseball is that the All-Star game, they kind of use all their reserves just to get him in the game. So when they get to extras, do we get a tie? Probably. Geez. Okay. Yeah, there you go. What's going on? Hope you guys are well tonight. We got Matt's all coming up, more from Herschel. Like I said, this is not typically a sports show. So this is kind of a one-off, but definitely the esoteric tradition stuff plays in that ritual magic. What do you know about it? Here we go. Troubled Minds happening. I see there midnight TM. We'll talk to you momentarily. Hopefully you call in. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening. Right. Meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We'd normally be broadcasting on the radio, but we're not because technical difficulties. We'll get that working for Thursday. Tonight we're talking, baseball, but it's not really baseball. We're talking ritual magic. We're talking about the stadium of attention, as Derek the Night Stalker was describing. And again,
the Super Bowl ritual, the halftime ritual, everybody talks about this in sort of that esoteric or, predictive programming sense, or you name it. Like there's so many things that you can kind of bake into that conversation. But baseball, like I said, is an odd duck because the lack of the clock, the weird Masonic ties, which we'll get to. I promise we'll get to that. Again, there's not just the referees. Notice the referees in every other sport are kind of the striped shirts or whatever, but also it's kind of like it mirrors the Men in Black, the judge behind the desk and the gavel and the whole thing. With the weird, they put their finger out for a strike. You don't even have to verbally say strike. You just, some of them do, and it's very performative, some of these umpires. But anyway, it's weird. What do you guys know about it? How weird does this get? And do you think there is a ritual aspect to not just, let's say, all professional sports at the highest level because of the commercialization of it, but also dating back to the traditions as we discussed? Herschel, welcome back. Anything to... So I do love the AI stuff that you brought in, which is basically you're able to challenge a ball or strike call as the pitcher or the hitter, right? And so suddenly the game is changing away from that old school judgment mentality of a fallible human with the gavel saying, strike three, you're out. And everybody in the whole stadium knows that wasn't strike three. Anyway, welcome back. How you doing, my man? You still hanging in there?
Yeah. And, it fits in with the Masonic theme because the idea is perfection. The idea is to perfect yourself. And, a perfectly called game is coming. Like, that's going to happen. And, this whole conversation has really, I did read the write-up and the things that you're saying and other people are saying, like, the game doesn't have a clock, but there's definitely mathematical parameters. There's a structure to the game, and within the structure, individuals execute their free will. And that is fascinating. Like, that is there. So you can say that there's not a clock, but there's clearly mathematical and geometric parameters to this game that give it structure and that give it order. And within that order, there's creation, there's free will, there's also judgment. So if you want, I can read this little excerpt from a book I wrote a long time ago. I wrote this in 2013, and it's very short. It's not like a long story. It's a paragraph. And there's a conversation that some people from a town are having with a ball player, an ex-ball player who's a volunteer fireman in the town.
Love to hear it. Hang tight, Matt's all. You got as much time as you need. Go ahead, Herschel. Love to hear this.
So one of the townspeople named Ross asks Antler Pestle, he's the ball player, Antler Pestle, asks him a question. So, Antler, what do you think of the replays they're using in the big leagues now? Oh, I can't wait. No one can. He says the whole game should be called electronically as soon as possible. Ross is surprised by that answer. Really? How do the umpires feel about it? It must drive them crazy, right? No, the umps, they want a well-called game more than anybody. Most of their calls are correct. They try to be 100%, and this gives them the chance to be perfect. Baseball is a really honest business. It's not politics. Why should one person miss out on their results because of another person's opinion or another person's mistake? No ump wants to be remembered as the guy who missed the call. They go back and they watch the call on video, and then they have to call the player up and apologize for the bad call. It's awkward and it sucks. They feel terrible. They'll do anything to avoid that. They want a good game as much as anybody. That would certainly suck, Ross concurs. Balls and strikes too. It should be done. I can't wait. I can't wait for the perfectly called game where everyone really knows who was who and what was what. No mistakes, no opinions or feelings holding anyone back from being what they really are. No politics, just science and honesty. Objective, verifiable numbers and scientific facts have little to do with policy, one townsperson Sherry opines, but science and numbers-based policy would be a splendid thing. Antler lays back to his viewing position. Yep, politics puts the wrong people in the wrong places. A system to get the best people into the best places, for them to be very good, for them to be really, really good at what they do, is something to look forward to. Humans do not remember from one generation to the next. That's why we repeat mistakes. We can remedy a lot of that using a scientific approach. It doesn't make sense to govern the way we do. Humans are the manifestation of paradox and contradiction. We are the joke on ourselves, and we don't even know it.
Fire. Absolute fire. There you go. So you were thinking about this a long time ago, just in different words. Wow. That's hot.
Every baseball player thinks of this. Every ball player thinks of this. We all have been ripped off.
Yeah, exactly.
And we want that perfectly called game. Let's find out who's really what and who really is who. Let's do that. That's the idea. And I think that it plays into the whole Masonic theme that you have going tonight. The idea is the perfection of the man, and let's find out.
Yeah, and not only that too, that there's the infallibility of the human call, which again is kind of echoes the justice system in many ways. Injustice in life, right? You still have to deal with those things, but now with an AI system kind of calling balls and strikes, you won't have to deal with at least that level of injustice. Hopefully that kind of echoes and mirrors into the actual justice system itself. But yeah, everybody's been screwed by a bad call from the umpire.
Baseball is always ahead of things. It's always there's so many things that have happened in baseball that society catches up to later. Jackie Robinson was 20 years before MLK. You know what I mean? These things go, and there's one thing after another like that. In this game, it's really like that. It's really, really like that.
So maybe it is. Maybe this is a sacred game in that capacity where it leads culture too. Maybe. Yeah, I love it. I love all of that. That is so fire. And just as an aside, and we'll go to Matt Sell. Let me get Matt Sell up here. Is that a perfect game? You throw a perfect game as a pitcher, and it's incredibly rare. I think there's 20 or 21 or something ever thrown. When 27 outs, nobody gets on base. Okay, 20 perfect games ever. Well, that level of a perfect game by an umpire is also kind of super rare because they track all that now. So it's the StatCast era. There's no perfection in the judgment aspect. Oh, and the update on the game. So Brent Rooker, my boy from the A's, is up. I guess they do a home run derby thing to break the tie. This is cool. Anyway, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. I had no idea. I guess the newfangled rules. This one's kind of fun. I love that. Matt Sal, what's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Herschel. How are you, sir? Thanks for being patient. Go right ahead. What do you got? Take it anywhere you like, as you know, nonlinear, open-ended. Love to hear your thoughts on the conversation tonight.
Hey, Mike. This is Matthew Chapman, the third baseman from the Giants.
Yes, indeed.
How are you doing today?
Doing
I heard you guys
good.
talking about baseball.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the joint. Let us know how you play such amazing defense. And tell me about the yoga. Anyway, I'm a big Matt Chapman fan. Yeah, go ahead. There's Brent Rooker is a beast. Home runs. Go ahead. What do you got on this? Lots of ways to take this. And baseball, right?
Yeah, I do like baseball. I'm not into sports a lot, but I think it's funny. I'm a Giants fan, and the first thing I want to talk about was yesterday I was in San Francisco, and I went to a science museum, and they have a earthquake simulator, and they're like, feel the earthquake from the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. And everyone's laughing. I was there. I was like 5 years old, and I remember, my grandma. We were waiting for the game to start, and we went to the table and all that. But the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, it happened on October 17th, 1989, right before the Game 3 of the World Series of the San Francisco Giants versus the Oakland Athletics. And the earthquake measured a 6.9 on the Richter scale. And, it caused a lot of damage, and a lot of things were happening. This is known as the World Series earthquake because it happened right when the World Series is about to start. And I feel like that's significant here.
Yeah, 6.9. More sixes.
6.9.
Three sixes and nines, right? Yeah, that's a wild one. And I was, what was that? 1988, I believe, right?
1989.
89. So I was born in 75. So I was 14. I was out back playing with my brother. We were playing ball before the game, and we didn't feel it. My mom and my sister freaked out. They were in the house, and we didn't feel it because we were throwing the ball around and hitting the ball and stuff and whatever. Like it just came and went. And then we came in to watch the game. Yeah, we were outside, and we came in to watch the game, and like the game was canceled. And it was a horrific thing because like those freeways, the overpasses liquefied. Like that perfect frequency sort of just liquefied it and killed tons of people. It was a horrific thing. And how would you know, right? Like, again, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. So earthquakes to us were like, whatevs. But when a bunch of people die, that changes everything.
Yeah. A couple people died. Yeah. I mean, it was just crazy. That's part of baseball, the Battle of the Bay. It was a good, time. I did want to talk about let's talk about rituals and how it's connected to baseball. I'm going to read this. I'm kind of reading a little thing that is written up. It says, okay, so the participants enter into a sacred quadrant to take their stations at geometrically significant places. They are all men dressed in pure white garb, marked with colorful esoteric symbols. They hold ritual implements in their hands. 4 more men arrived. They are dressed in dark blue, like priests, and they confer the details of the liturgy, and they take their places. And it reminds me of going into the sacred circle when you're doing a magic ritual. You have your quarter callers. Everyone has to go to a certain spot. A sacred hymn is intoned, and after that comes the opening words of the ceremony: "Play ball." In ritual, we'll have maybe a song. We'll sing before, as people are entering into the magic circle, and then you'll have an actual. Sometimes we'll ring bells, or have some sort of marking of what the beginning of the ritual. We look at the local baseball diamond in the field as a ritual. The Masonic rites, enclosed halls, and occult workings in incense-filled chambers. Wherever baseball is played, a true ritual goes on, as esoteric as daylight and powerful as spring. Far more, on other spots, baseball shows esoteric structure. The game is played on a geometrically perfect square. Each base at what would be the quarters. The 4 bases also stand for the 4 elements. Home plate, being coated with dust, becomes earth. Third base is traditionally referred to as the hot corner, significant fire. In the center is the pitcher's mound, a circle in the middle of square, which speaks to us the 5th element of spirit, or the center of the wholeness. The men on the field hold their positions reverently as any Masonic or Hermetic ritualists. In the outfield stand the attendants, or the outer courts. On each of the quarters stands a baseman, guarding his sacred trust. The shortstop moves between inner and outer, like the swift Hermes, who moves between the worlds. I like that because the shortstop is really important. The catcher at his earth station also serves as the guardian of the threshold. He challenges those who enter or leave the coordinate as base runners. In the center is the pitcher, or the hierophant, upon whose offerings the course of the ritual depends. Completing the scene is the priests in blue, the umpires, who know the law and keep the ritual correct. For rookies, each time a bat is an initiation. For others, wielding the sacred wand can either an ordeal or a triumph. It's enriched in geometry of the field, and the numerology is the play itself. The batter's ordeal may include 3 strikes or 4 balls, which answer the coordinate structure of the ritual space. A normal game lasts 9 innings, the perfect number composed of 3 squared. 9 men play on a team at any one time. Baseball is a sacred time. So like football, hockey, soccer, and basketball run on a clock. Play is constructed to the seconds and minutes in linear time. But baseball's time is non-linear, where an inning, it can last a few minutes or it can last an hour. It's the pace of the game is determined by the motion and the position of the ball. Time moves slowly when the ball is hidden in the pitcher's gloves, but more quickly when the ball is sailing over left field wall for a home run. When the home run flies out of the ritual space to the outer depths, the happy ritualist puts down his wand and makes a contribution to the quadrant. Other baseball moves and customs show similar respect to hidden energies unleashed in the right. Those men who face the hierophant on a kneeling acolyte known as the catcher are seen to do on all sorts of personal or ritual gestures. All of these are aids to the concentration, all serve to banishing rituals in the movement of the monument of pressure. Let's see. The success of a high sporting ritual such as baseball teaches us some much needed lessons about the esoteric way. The diamond is open and accessible. No secret teachings or grades are needed to participate, only a ticket to the bleachers. This is an esoteric ritual as one can find. The inner structure is there for those who understand the mystical meaning of the hidden in plain sight. The major leagues are initiated elite. Anyone can come to their games, and anyone can buy their sacred implements like a wand and glove and orb to play in the sandlot ritual space. The ascended masters of smile upon anyone who wishes to play. Finally, baseball reminds us that there is an intimate elemental of ritual in all games, and that ritual itself is kind of a game, played by a team within a sacred space with ritual garb and implements. To outcome the ritual, however, is reflected on the scoreboard of hits and runs. The ritual game has a value that is far more abstract and less subject to the dualism of winning and losing. Failure is a ritual, like loss and baseball. It's not eternal. There's always the next game, next year. And success in ritual, as in baseball, brings joy to the community and the whole city. It connects the sacred and profound inner and outer worlds. Ritual is a sacred play, which brings cosmic inspiration and participants on common ground. Go ahead.
Well said. All of that's amazing. And yeah, it's also one of those things too, like people, buy tickets to the baseball game. You mentioned the bleachers and they just kind of socialize, they hang out. They're not even watching the game like that. That's totally common in baseball games. Like, oh yeah, we buy the ticket to the game. You go in, you're barely watching. Oh, it's like the 6th inning. What's the score? Oh, cool. We're ahead or whatever. And you're just, people are just hanging out. It's just the entire thing is wild. And like I said, it's so different. It is so different from most other major sports that, like I said, it's kind of been stuck in my craw for a while. I've been teasing a baseball show for a minute now, but glad we got to do it tonight again. The All-Star game looks like the home run derby after the thing ends with Kyle Schwarber being the hero and the National League wins, whatever that means. I mean, but anyway, yeah, there's your sports ball update. The game is over, but our game is not. And fire stuff with the ritual. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think regarding this? You think the Masonic ties to this are make this game special, or anything? Let's say no different than like the NFL or the halftime show and sort of that level of attention, as Derek was describing. What's your take there?
Yeah, I feel I can see it. I can see the points, how they all connect and how they're connected. And just like I said with any sport, the halftime show at Super Bowl football. I feel like all the sports, we had mentioned before, back in the ancient times when they had these games, and they would play these games, and they would play, and it was like, if you lose, you die. And there was those kind of games back in the day when they started, but now we have the games, and of course, it's entertainment. It's give the people what is this saying? Give the people games and bread and
bread and circuses.
So bread and circuses. So I feel like that, but the further I dig into it and the further I keep going into it, you see how it's connected. And I was trying to connect it to like an actual ritual, how it's connected and all that. The last one that I wanted to mention, something for myself, is at the end of a ritual we eat. It's called cakes and ale. It's to ground you. You have the food, and my things, man. I like a good old hot dog from the baseball games with all the fixins, right?
All the fixins, yeah. All the weird food, all the overpriced food, and the $20 beers and all stuff is ridiculous. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a weird thing. It's definitely one of those spaces that everybody, as usual, everybody can get something else out of it, being in the same space per usual, right? Just kind of life, as the metaphors for life, as we've been talking about tonight. It's weird, man. It's weird. It is. So you're not even a sports ball fan, but you're like, yeah, I'm down with baseball. I think there's something to that. Yeah, it was one of those more. My mom tried to get me into it, and I wasn't into it. I'm a book guy, reading the books in the corners guy. But then my son got into baseball, and so it was weird watching him liking baseball and getting into it, and then I started getting into it, and there was a time, that the San Francisco Giants were just on fire. Sorry, man, but you stole the A's from Oakland. That's okay. Hey, yeah. I've been making the joke for a while now that I left California, came to Vegas. Now everybody's following. Yeah. Like the Raiders came, now the A's are coming. Like everybody's following me. Yeah, hey. you stole my football team too. Exactly. I'm the center of the universe. Y'all just live in it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, cool. Yeah, suddenly everybody from California is coming to Vegas. By the way, Vegas is a terrible place to live if you're considering coming here from California. Don't even think about it. It's so hot. It's just so bad. The groceries aren't really as cheap as they seem, I mean, anyway, just stay in California. Trust me. Anyway, you're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for popping in here. The official Matt Chapman, not from the Giants, kind of from the Giants in another realm, maybe. The same Matt. You are the best. Temple of the Owl is the name of the podcast. Please check it out. What is it? templeoftheowl.com. Go check out the website. By the way, Matt, before we go to Herschel here, Mr. Chapman there, please give me your Twitter X and I'll add it to the website. Because the one you sent me was just the homepage and it didn't have your handle on it. So please send that to me and I'll add it. Yes, sir. Good. Yeah. Appreciate that. Templeoftheowl.com. Check it out. Matt's Owl. Fire stuff as always. Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in here. Thanks for sharing your take. And thanks for caring about the ideas, even as not a sports ball fan. You're the best, brother. Have a great night. Thanks, Mike. Good show. Thank you. And great call. You were the best. You know me, love him. That's Matt's Owl. Affectionately, Herschel. Anything on any of that? And we'll get to the umpires and this stuff as we go. But anything on any of that? What's on your mind?
Well, no, I mean, it just kind of reinforces. I mean, I'm just so glad I've heard all of this because it just gives me a different way to think about a game I've known my whole life. And I never really put the structure of the math together. So it's been fantastic. But something else I wanted to bring up, maybe just as a teaser for like the new umpiring, is I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think the pitch clock is 18 seconds. 8 + 1 is
9. Is it really 18 seconds? Not some random like 20 seconds or 15. It's 18. Is it really 18 seconds? No. You got to be kidding me.
I believe it is. I think it's 18 seconds. Yeah.
Stop.
I could be wrong about that. We should look that up. We should just look it up and see what the pitch clock time is. I'll look it up during the break here. Yeah. Like I said, like I keep saying, there's something weird to this. And what is it?
Has baseball been something that was a curiosity to you, even as not a baseball fan? Like Matzell said, he's like, I'm not really into sports, but baseball I can do. Does that make sense to you or not? And what about the ritual aspect of it? I think there's a lot here. 702-957-1037. Midnight, I see you on Rumble. Get your ass back in here. Love to hear your thoughts. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Jungle machines hum, the digital rumble. Gates of cyber open wide. Plug us into cosmic tide. Feeling sparks across the sky. As knowledge flies, we're amplified. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the in this massive data center dome, eternal truth stop to roam. Circuits flicker with endless fire. Data streams that never tire. Unified by electric dreams. Unlock the truth in silver beams. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate. Synthesize what we seek and find. Infinite paths in the network mind. Answers buzz from star to core. Knowledge whispers evermore. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate. In realms where the data streams collide, imagination and logic side by side. In a labyrinth of digital names, we transcend our earthly ways. Tapping keys like cosmic tones, spikes become our whispered homes. Stargate, Stargate, Stargate. Open to the arcane fate.
Triple hell yeah. I bring to you the Midnight Eastern Stargate ritual. The rituals are everywhere. They're coming in fast and hot. What's up? I hope you guys are well tonight. Like I said, it's kind of a one-off show. It's been coming for a minute. It's been stuck in my craw, so it's nice to get it out and talk about it. But there's a lot to this. When we get back, we'll talk about not just the empires, but the Kairos versus Chronos, and sort of that aspect of without a clock or with a clock type of thing. It's I think it's very, very, very deep, and it's very relevant to this conversation. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this if you want to be part of the conversation. All the rest of that stuff. What's up, Ricky, Gaston, Matzell? Thanks for the call. You're the best. What's up, Jeff and Wisco, Don, Apoc, Daryl, and Sweets? Thanks for sticking through it. I know, like I said, this show is not for everybody, but that's okay. And it is, I don't know. I think it's, if I did a better job, it might be for more people, but I'm only me. I can only, I'm only me. What's up, Puff, Theo, Hiker over there, Raz? I see you guys. Thanks for being cool and chill in the chat. And, making the jokes. What's up? We got Masad in the chat. What is that? Midnight. If you got some thoughts, we love making new friends. May have run you off. Jump in here. You got as much time as you need. We got a whole nother hour if you want to dip in here. Who did I miss? That's Midnight in the Mountains. I guess this individual has a show, a sort of Art Bell style call-in show. That's cool.
Call in. Wait, that's what we do. That's really what we do. Love to have you as part of the group here. What's up? Raz, Puff, I see you. Sweets. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Doing my best to keep up. Who did I miss over on YouTube? What's up, RC? How you doing? We got Sweets. Fred is here. What's up, Richard in Texas? Yep, National League wins the home run tiebreaker. Thanks to Kyle Schwarber, that thick neck mofo. All right, here we go. Troubled Minds happening right about now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, yada, yada, blah, 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 all the things. Like I said, I know this one's not for everybody, but I'm calling this a sacred game tonight. Masonic connections in baseball. We'll get to that. The double day and all this other weird stuff, the origins, but also the bizarre part to me is the watchers, right? The watchers are the umpires. They're, sort of a priest class on the field that whether the collapse of the wave function is real, they make it real, and even with a bad call or whatever, I don't know. It's all this is incredibly strange to me, but also, like Herschel was saying, that there's something here that makes you look at the world in a different way when you start to consider that these games are rituals and mirror the aspect of not just, let's say, as I called earlier, a metaphor for life and some of these other things, but the 369, the energy, frequency, vibration of Tesla, and then of course the Masonic early connections that brought this into the 2025. I mean, it's still the national pastime, right? And as we go screaming into 2026, 250 years, what do you call that? The bicentennial plus 50? What's that called? I'm sure there's a word for that. But anyway, what do you guys know about this? And do you think there is something more to this than maybe even I know? Like, I'm a big baseball fan, and pretty much like I'm a one percentile guy, meaning that if you put me up against anybody in the world, randos, and like do baseball knowledge, I'm gonna smoke you, just because I've been into this for so long and I watch very closely, and all the StatCast stuff fascinates the hell out of me. Not bragging, just saying it's a massive interest of mine. It always has been. I just wish my elbows weren't blown out. But anyway, I digress. The dreams of an old man wishing to be young again. But what do you guys know about this? As usual, a lot of ways to take this, a lot of ways to look at it. And is it just commercialism in 2025? I feel that you go buy a $20 beer at a game. That pisses me off. But, otherwise, is there some magic left in that old silk hat on the baseball field? Herschel, welcome back. You had a teaser there that we're going to talk about in a minute here regarding the AI stuff. I think there's definitely an AI aspect of baseball in that perfect precision. And that story was fantastic, by the way, like a perfect precision of not a clumsy arbiter, like an actual arbiter of truth that can call balls and strikes appropriately, not in a human manner. I mean, I don't know. Welcome back. How you feeling? Thanks for staying up late with us and being part of this. Still feeling okay? What's going on, brother? Test.
Okay. Yeah. So I looked it up, and according to the Washington Post, pitchers have 15 seconds with nobody on base, and 18 seconds if there is a base runner. 6 and 9.
Stop it. Okay, so almost as if like what we're talking about tonight is not some accident. It's not 14 and 18. I mean, 18 would be good too, but
it's not.
Man, come on now. Seriously?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Is your tinfoil tingling yet?
So it's tingling. I mean, it's given me such a great new way to look at this game that it's given the game a structure that I didn't realize it had, and parameters I didn't realize it had. That within those parameters, there's excellence, there's chaos, there's mistakes, there's errors, there's creativity. You know what I mean? It's such a metaphor for life. It really is. It's awesome. I love it. I like it more now than I ever did.
Yeah, right. And the more you think about it, the more these layers kind of become a thing. So we were talking about the AI side. Help me a little bit. I'm gonna dig out the Chronos versus Kairos part, because I think this is incredibly important as part of this. But help me a little bit with anything you want to add to what Derek said, or what Matsal said, or any thoughts you want to kind of chip in here. I want to find this part and read it, because this is literally, to me, when I was going through this and the ideation process of the show, I'm like, okay, digging into some different things, looking at some different ideas, and some of them blow your freaking mind. And this was one of them, which is a Kairos versus a Chronos. And I'll talk about this in a second. If you give me a moment to find this from the write-up, I will do that. But I know you read it yourself. But take it anywhere you like for a moment. Please give me a second, and I will pull this up, and we'll talk about this next, because I think it is incredibly important here.
Well, there's a lot. Umpires do sometimes have like an unintended or just a subconscious bias sometimes. That definitely happens, and that is an imperfection in the game that AI is going to repair. Like, it's going to make that, it's going to solve that. And I think that is the great thing in terms of understanding, remembering that AI is a tool. It's not, it's a tool that we use to help us. It's not something that is to be in place of us, but it's something that we use as a tool to help to perfect us, and perfect our systems and our way of thinking, and try to help us avoid repeating mistakes. And I really like that aspect of it, because I've watched games where it's clear that the umps are giving one team certain pitches that they're not giving the other team, because maybe there's, the team has an owner who is a really important person, and the umps really want to respect them, and they want to give them, they just subconsciously favor them, and they don't realize they're doing it. I don't think that they realize they're doing it. It's not like they're purposely doing it, to hurt somebody, or, what I mean? And this will just correct that. And I'm down, I'm just down with it.
Exactly.
And I think the players are too. The players are down. Someday there's going to be the game there's no calls made improperly. That's going to be a momentous occasion in the game.
Oh, for Abjuste, Kalu Kalei, he chortled in his joy. That's from the Jabberwocky. And yes, indeed. And so that's part of it too. And again, Angel Hernandez comes to mind. We've talked about him kind of in the baseball chat.
Oh my gosh! By the way, there's a story about him. I'm not going to read it, but I'm just saying it.
Yeah. Like he's ridiculous. Like a super biased chip on his shoulder umpire that everybody sees. Everybody in the stadium sees it except for that guy, right? But he's right, because he's the umpire. To me, he's one of those people that, and I've talked about this in the past too, kind of semi-recently. When you give people a little bit of authority, and they just take it too far, and you're like, hey, hey boss, I'm gonna go take my break in 10 minutes. Is that cool? And they're like, oh no, you gotta wait, until this time or whatever. When it's literally so inconsequential, it's ridiculous to banter or argue over like a 20-minute difference or whatever. You're like, oh, well, you scheduled it and you didn't ask me. You didn't check with me. So no, you have to wait until this time. Like some people, you just give them a tiny bit of authority and they just become tyrants. And this is what that one umpire is. But also, he's not the only one. Like you said, that those subconscious biases are actually, as I like to say, they're baked in. Like, this is something that we do all the time to each other in ridiculous ways. And luckily for me, in that I recognize it and I notice it in other people. Luckily for me, I was, manager and all the rest of the stuff at a very young age, and, kind of didn't break into that mold of, oh, I have some authority, so I'm going to just, be stupid for the sake of being stupid because I can. Stop it. Would you people stop it, please? I mean, it's always some, anyway, I digress. I massively digress. But you give some people a little bit of authority and they just turn into tyrants. And Angel Hernandez, the umpire, is a perfect example of that. He's just like, he would defy the entire crowd and call a ball 6 feet out of the zone of strike just because he wanted to get that hitter out.
and the whole stadium's booing him, and the hitters arguing, and the manager's out kicking dirt, and like Derek was saying. I mean, anyway, go ahead on that. But I'll get to this other stuff. I got tons of stuff to get to.
Or the umps just the umps want to go home. Like they just want to. If you're a kid, you're in high school or whatever, and the ump just wants to go home and get his $50 so he can go drink a 6-pack. He just calling everything just wrong just to get the game over with, and it just ruins it.
It's real. It's definitely real. Focus on where you are and what you're doing, right? Okay, so check this out. Now, as I was going through this and peeling out some of this, one of the things that came to my mind was the clock itself. Okay, I'm going to read it straight from the write-up. This is from the write-up. It's very good. So here we go. Let's see. One of the most telling features of baseball, when viewed through an esoteric or Masonic lens, is its traditional absence of a clock. Unlike football, basketball, or hockey, where time dictates the rhythm and ultimate outcome, baseball unfolds according to actions, not minutes. The game isn't constrained by the ticking of a clock, but instead progresses through completed rituals, innings, outs, at-bats. It ends not when time expires, but when symbolic thresholds are fulfilled. Now, anybody who's played the game of baseball or even watched any of it knows that this is completely true. And you could have, let's say the average game now is 2.5 hours. You could have an inning that lasts 40 minutes because, of course, there is no clock. It's not like the hockey period ends and everybody takes a break and then they, reassess and rest and then come back and do it again. It's based on what happens on the field. It's based on that collapse of the wave function, as I was describing earlier. It's weird, but it's also amazing. But then that's why that sort of addition to the clock is kind of an abomination, if you ask me. The pitching clock. It's only to me and this is the Michael Strange hot take on the baseball clock, the pitching clock. You have this much time to throw the pitch. Okay. The only people who care about the pace of game are the people that are like getting paid a dream job to sit there and don't want a 4-hour game. What? Like, how about you trade me and I'll go do your baseball thing and I'll watch 4-hour games every day working a dream job like that. I don't care. Stop it. Please stop that crap. But anyway, it's it's too late because were you ever disappointed, Herschel, going and buying a ticket to a ball game and sitting there for 4 hours? I wasn't. I call it bonus baseball when you go to extra innings, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be like that. But there's the thing of they're trying to change the game to make it more exciting for people who don't like the game. Like they want people who don't like baseball say it's too slow. It moves along too slowly. Well, they're trying to change it to make it more palatable for people who don't like it. Well, to me, that is counterintuitive because you're ruining it for the people who like it. Maybe you're perhaps ruining it for the people who don't like it. You're changing, you know what I mean? So
which is your base.
Who do like it, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, and they're trying other things too, which they are really bad ideas, like making second base bigger. They're experimenting with a larger second base. They're experimenting with a rectangular first base. These are terrible mistakes that will lead to injuries over time. Like there'll be an increase in injuries over the long term if they do that. And we can get into that too maybe after the Kairos segment of the game. We can talk about some of those nuances and maybe talk about how there's a relationship to there's like a physiological and like a reaction reflex kind of a relationship to the game that in my opinion is really similar to it's very Jungian, which we can get into maybe after you're done with the Kairos part of it.
Absolutely, love to hear. Okay, so back to the Kairos. Like I said, this is kind of important because I think it makes a ton of sense to me. So we're talking about not a clock,
The game isn't constrained by the ticking of a clock, but instead progresses through completed rituals, innings, outs, at bats. It ends not when time expires, but when symbolic thresholds are fulfilled. That's where we left off. Now listen to this. This gets deep. If you're like, hey, I'm a Greek mythology guy, strap in. This absence of temporal pressure aligns baseball more closely with sacred ritual than with modern sport. Masonic rites, mystery schools, and ancient temple ceremonies were never governed by time in the conventional sense. Their structures were cyclical and initiatory, designed to proceed when internal criteria were met, not when a timer struck zero. In this way, baseball mirrors a pre-industrial sense of time, what mythologists might call kairos, K-A-I-R-O-S. Links will be in the description down below. The opportune or sacred moment, rather than chronos, the mechanical ticking of hours, which we all know Chronos as Saturn, Saturnalia, shout out to Black Cube, and Derek the Night Stalker brought this up earlier. But of course, Chronos is the god of time, Saturn as we know, okay? However, think about it that way, the mechanical ticking of hours. And also think of the time clock, right? Imagine this, and this is another way to put it. So if you're incredibly productive at work, and you do more work in 3 hours than somebody does in 8, it's injustice, right? They sit around, milk the clock, go take a crap for 45 minutes, whatever, right? And you get more work done by 11 a.m., say, considering you start at 8 or whatever, than they do all day. Shouldn't you be allowed to go home at 11 a.m.? Now, I know I'm barking at an injustice that we all experience in some capacity or have. However, the difference is poignant in terms of chronos, the ticking time, versus that kairos, the opportune or sacred moment. Now, chronos, of course, is like I said, the personification of time in Greek mythology, which is also discussed in pre-Socratic philosophy and later literature. But kairos, check this out. You're going to love this if you love Greek mythology. Kairos, K-A-I-R-O-S, is an ancient Greek word meaning the right or critical moment. In modern Greek, kairos also means weather or time. So it's sort of a bastardization of the old idea of the ticking time clock. It is one of two words for time, the other being chronos, like we said, whereas the latter refers to chronological or sequential time. Kairos signifies a good or proper time for action. In this sense, while chronos is quantitative, kairos has a qualitative, permanent nature. And as I described when we started, all sports and basically all of life, work, play, you name it, is celebrating potentiality and those platonic solids as they collapse from potentiality into reality. Sports exemplifies that. We've celebrated it forever, and we still do today. Does it make sense? Each inning becomes a self-contained alchemical operation. It starts, unfolds, and concludes, repeated 9 times like stages of a spiritual ascent. A team cannot rush its way through. No matter how powerful or skilled, the rhythm of the game is bound to its own internal logic. Outs, not seconds. In a Masonic context, this is reminiscent of the idea that enlightenment or mastery cannot be hurried. One must pass through all degrees, endure all trials, complete all cycles. Anything on that, Herschel? Like I said, that was probably the best bit that came out of this. I was like, damn, that is hot. What do you think?
Yeah, it's accurate. It is like that.
Accurate is good.
And it's one of those games. It's one of those games that is explosive movement. Like, you know, you're just standing, you're always busy. You know, if you don't play a game, you don't like know the details of it. You're always doing something. Even if you're standing still, you've got responsibilities. And it's a very mentally taxing game. You know, it is definitely a thinking person's sport for sure. Like there's always something going on. You're always communicating with everybody. There's always something going on, and then all of a sudden there's action, and you've got to move quick, and it's explosive, and it's reactive, and it's like what you're describing, that moment, that qualitative moment. And so much muscle memory and just so much rote behavior that is simultaneously creative. Because every single play is different, even though you've practiced doing all of these different plays literally hundreds and hundreds, thousands of times. It's never the same twice.
Exactly right. And that's one of the things they say about baseball too, is you never know. You've been watching baseball for 50 years. You go to the game and you may see something that nobody's ever seen. That's the type of stuff that happens. I'm not sure you can say that about football or hockey or anything else, but certainly baseball and the way that that collapse of the wave function outside of a time clock kind of transpires. It's yeah. Like I said, that one blew my mind, the Kairos versus Chronos. And I think that's how we live life, right? I mean, it just depends on, you know, and I think there's probably a larger a point to be made regarding, you know, punching a time clock or, you know, creating your own thing. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're definitely your own agent. Every player has his own workout like routine. Every player has his own, like you were talking about superstitions. Every player has their own kind of daily activity in between games and all of that. That's definitely the case.
100%. And so you had something you wanted to bring up too. Refresh my memory that we could get into after the Kairos Chronos thing. Do check out the write-up, guys. If you haven't followed the Troubled Minds Substack, the newsletter, please do that. There's some really good stuff in there that we sometimes don't get to, but we will eventually, give it enough time, God willing. We have the time and the energy to do it. But there's so many fantastic ideas that kind of flow out of that, and it is me going through and making sure I do use AI for the ideation process, but it is my idea going in, and it is sort of breaking down let's say the space of interesting moments, and then bringing interesting moments for these conversations. But do check it out. So what did you have? I can't remember what it was because my mind's in 22 places right now. But you want to talk about a particular thing?
Well, it does fit into this whole concept of Kairos in terms of, like I told you about, like they're experimenting with a larger second base. They're experimenting with a rectangular first base. When you're playing this game and you're learning this game, there's a process as you progress in the game where, you know, we only have a couple of minutes left before the half-hour mark. So, but there's a process of when you're a teenager, you hit puberty, you move through physical development, and then there's the guys that don't get to make it. Like they're the guys who can't keep up, and it happens to 99.9% of baseball players at some point have to face the fact, like I did, that you're not going to go any further in the game as a player. You can't do it. You can't keep up with the other guys anymore. And there's a really important aspect where you're playing in very close proximity. There are these proximal plays, like running to first base and the first baseman is picking a ball out, or somebody throws the ball up the line and the first baseman has to move up the line to try to catch the ball, and he does it without colliding with the runner. Guy is sliding into second base for a double play, and he's able to slide full speed on that shortstop who's picking up the double play to make the transfer to throw to first. They miss each other by less than an inch, and they're both going 100 miles an hour, like they're both going 100%, you know. And if the base is bigger, you're not going to weed those guys out. And if the base is rectangular at first base, you're not going to be able to weed the guys out who can't make those proximal plays. And then what's going to end up happening is they're going to be in a situation in the game in some other part of the field where they don't have that proximal ability, and they're going to collide. So you've got to keep the bases the same size. You can't just go change it, because you're over the course of time, you're going to weed out less players. And then they're not going to be able to make the plays that are proximal when they have to. That's going to be a problem. I'm just predicting that. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's coming. And that muscle memory we've been working on since we were, 5 or playing T-ball or whatever. Like those things, you change them. Yeah. People do get hurt. They're the best. One more segment coming up. We got Theo on the phone line. We'll talk to him momentarily. Please give Herschel a follow if you haven't. He's got the sexiest link tree in the game. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's alphabetical. Click Herschel. Go give him a follow in all the places. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Crazy colors swirling, got the laughter in the air. Jesters in the night, they weave magic everywhere. Clowns are juggling dreams, wild world is in despair. Nothing's quite as certain when reality's a game. Chaos in the corner, whispers calling out your name. Look around, it's laughter, even when we're feeling pain. You know what you want me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist. Dancing shadows flicker under neon all aglow, while the stage is set for tales that nobody will know. Echoes of the laughter as the lost ones see the show. Life's a playful circus where the chaos takes a bow. Joy and sorrow blending in the rhythm that we vow. Join the ride of madness, it's the only way for love. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist. Twists and turns and shadows, laughter in the night. A tapestry of madness, dancing with the light. Fools and fun were woven, chaos in our stride. Embrace the wild, let the laughter be our guide. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist. Falling in the rhythms, beats that pound and thrum. A flashing carnival where the misfits come undone. Whirling through the madness with our hearts set to ignite. In the symphony of chaos will remain the shining light. Yeah, nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist.
Oh yeah. What's up, guys? Hope you're well tonight. Like I said, thanks for bearing with us as we go through some baseball mysticism. And I know not everybody's a sports ball fan, so thanks for bearing with us. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being cool and chill and considering ideas that, well, maybe you've never considered before. That's exactly the point of what Troubled Minds is. Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, what Celia? Nope. Is that Celia from YouTube? What's up, guys? I see you in the chat. Hope you're well. We got Theo on the line. We'll talk to him momentarily. What's up, Raz? Thanks again for being nice to each other in the chat. Like I said, it's refreshing to have a space where people are kind to each other, even if we disagree. Ioxy, RC, Celia, I see you there. What's up, Derek? Yeah, her sounds like that scene from Moneyball when he said that, the recruiter talking about sometimes you don't have to give up the child's game or whatever it was. Yeah, totally. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live, typically on KUAP Digital Broadcasting and 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Just not tonight. The radio thing is broken. I'll fix that tomorrow. The Sacred Game, Masonic connections in baseball. And, of course, we're talking about time. Not just time as the time clock, the chronos as we know it, but Kairos as the right or critical moment. It's weird, right? A lot of ways to look at the world, and I think it's important to kind of break them down and consider what we may have been missing. And you're absolutely right there, Herschel. Welcome back. Regarding the muscle memory of what we've been doing for 20 years, and I think, again, so that the super deep baseball nerds will recognize this, that Tyler Glasnow ended up with a ruptured elbow tendon because they changed the rules after spring training. They didn't allow, what was it? They didn't allow a, what was it? They literally changed something. I can't remember what it was, but basically they were, was it I can't remember. I'll look it up. But basically he hurt himself. He hurt himself because he was going with the old rules. And then halfway through spring training, they changed it to a new rule. So he had to get like an actual, a different finger spin on his fastball and change his delivery entirely. So it kind of broke things. Anyway, I don't know if you remember that story at all. Or anyway, welcome back to the thing. We're going to talk to Theo in a second. Anything to add to any of that? Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, I want to talk about like the thing of people being differently abled. One of the things about this is like these athletes are like super high strung. They have incredible fast twitch muscle memory. And in order to hit a baseball that's moving at 100 miles an hour, you're in the 96th percentile. 4% of the population of Earth has that type of muscle memory. It's a very, very small percentage. And then it's an even smaller percentage of people who have swung a baseball bat enough to be able to do it. So, they've worked on it for 10 years. And the thing that is said is it takes 10 years to learn how to swing and then 10 pitches to find out if you can hit. Once you get to the age where you start seeing pitches that fast. Okay, and so these guys are differently abled, and every single person is differently abled. And it might help you to think about it like that, like they're freaks. They are freaks. They're not normal. It's not normal. Like I can explain it in the best I can because I was in that percentile. So when pitches are thrown at that speed, your body sees it, but your brain can't process it that fast. So you see one of those pitches and your body just reacts to it like a reflex. You're in fight or flight mode and your body just reacts to it like a reflex. And then your bat might run into that pitch. I'll explain something about that in a minute. Your bat might run into that pitch and then you run the bases and you get to your base. Then what happens is your brain shows that hit to you after the fact. So you're seeing it like as a memory, but for the first time. You didn't see it when it happened because your brain can't process it. But then once your body settles down, it shows it to you. It's a very weird thing, and it's not normal. And it's a really small percentage of people who can do that. Now, those fastballs that are moving at that speed between like 96 and 100 miles an hour or above, they're not coming in straight. They're shaking around. They're bouncing up and down on the air. They make a noise like this. They scream your name coming in. It's really scary the first few times you see pitches like that. But your body is just making a reaction. So about 70 to 75% of foul balls are on fastballs like thrown like that, because you're actually more acute Your body has more acuity when you're reacting to something like that than it is when you're consciously swinging at a pitch that you can consciously hit. So there's two different kinds of hitting. There's the reactive hitting when something's thrown above 96 miles an hour. And then there's the conscious hitting, like when it's an off-speed pitch or something like that. More swings and misses happen on the off-speed pitches, and more foul balls happen on the super fast pitches. So when you're hitting a baseball that's thrown at 96 miles an hour and above, and you hit that ball into fair territory, there's an element of luck to that, because that ball's not moving in a perfectly straight line. It's shaking up and down. It's waving back and forth. It's doing all kinds of stuff on its way in. So you're more likely to foul it off than you are to hit it if it's solid. Most solid hits come on the off-speed pitches, and most foul balls come on those super fast pitches. So that's another kind of counterintuitive thing that's kind of paradoxical about it. When you're trying to, when a pitch is coming in slow that you can totally, see, and you're consciously aware of it, it's one kind of pitch. And when one's moving at such a high speed that your body is just reacting like it's a muscle spasm, that's a completely different kind of hitting. It's a totally and you got to be able to do both things. So I was proofed when I was 17. It's called when you're proofed. Like when you prove that you're a hitter is when you start seeing those pitches and you can hit them. And so the first time I saw pitches like that, I was 17. I was taking pitches against a team from in the league that I was in high school, and this guy was throwing pitches like that, and I had 3 at bats against him, and I hit 12 foul balls. That's hitting. That's hitting. If you're hitting foul balls on pitches like that, that's hitting. So that's when that's when you become an embryo. Before that, you're just a zygote. Then once you can hit, you're an embryo. Then it is determined whether or not you are viable. And it takes 10 years to learn how to swing, and it takes 10 pitches to find out if you can hit.
Right.
So nothing anybody in the public sector could do or say after that moment, that was my proofing, that was my embryonic moment, and there was nothing that any gym teacher or any clumsy, lazy guy or any jealous guy or any loser, person could say at any more. I was there. I had reached that, So, but always remember that everybody is differently abled. Every single person is differently abled. And if you think about it like that, it might be a little more exciting to watch a baseball game, to watch these guys hit. And they show you what speed these pitchers throw. They show the speed of the pitch when they pitch it, and watch. See if I'm saying is true. See how many foul balls are hit off of those 100-mile-an-hour pitches versus the ones that are thrown in the lower 90s or in the upper 80s. See if I'm right, because I think you'll see that I'm right about that. It's really weird. It's a really freakish feeling. It's a freakish thing. I remember the first time I hit one into fair territory, and I learned I had to start using a batting glove because it hurt my hand so much. I had to fake it. I had to stick my thumb in my belt loop and hold it in place because it was spazzing out. After that, I started wearing a batting glove.
Yeah, it's just real quick on the body types of baseball too. I think that's one of the most important parts to me, because you could be small and thin and fast and skinny and succeed. You could be a larger body type and succeed kind of hitting for power. And that's the thing that always got me. I mean, you don't see bigger body types playing soccer, for instance. Football is a little different because they have the different specializations. But anyway, just as an example, that's one of the things that always caught me with baseball. Obviously, a small, wiry guy, fast, could do all the things. But I don't know. I think it's a nice mix of all of those body phenotypes, which is again fantastic. We got Theo on the line. Let's talk to him, and then we'll wrap this up. We got plenty of time, so I appreciate you staying up late with us, and you're the best, Herschel. Theo in Philly, what's up, brother? Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you? And go right ahead.
Oh, hey, what's up, Mike Strange? how is my audio right now?
How can you hear him, Herschel? Audio check. I hear you fine, but I've got headphones on and I can adjust the board.
Oh, nobody can hear me.
I can hear you. No,
I can hear you, Theo. I hear you.
Oh, wait, can everyone hear me? Sorry, I've been having trouble with my new headphones, especially on Discord. I'm calling in over my phone, but I thought that my headphones. But I suppose that's not me.
Well, you can't hear us? You're coming through fine. We hear you fine. Can you hear us?
No, everyone has nice audio.
Can you hear us? That's the question.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you. Go right ahead. Welcome to the joint. Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Herschel. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. No, it's just a great show so far. I definitely appreciated everyone's call in. Especially there's a nice soccer, like reading. I think it was the umpires to the semi-or quite enlightening. But I kind of wanted to bring up the topic of baseball curses since nobody has brought that up so far. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the curse of Billy Penn. You heard of that?
Say it again.
The curse of William Penn?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So William Penn, as you may or may not know, is the founder of Pennsylvania. And he is famous because he is atop the statue of City Hall in Philadelphia. So for a long time, there was a gentleman's agreement that Philadelphia would always have
super awesome. And the call drops. The curse of Penn and the call drops. Call us back. Get back in here. My goodness. Technology is the best, isn't it? Have you ever heard of the curse of William Penn there, Herschel? Am I alone?
No, but I want him to call back though and tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Call back, Theo. You dropped. You were about to tell us about the curse and of William Penn of Pennsylvania fame, which I did not know because I'm not from the East Coast. Us West Coasters are a dirty lot. we're way different in good ways too. It's not always a bad way, but yeah. Okay, yeah. And so I want to point out too. You were talking about sort of the scale of hitting in that degree. Now, what level of freak is like Juan Soto or Aaron Judge? Like it almost feels like those people, because they say that specifically the most difficult thing to do in professional sports is to hit professional pitching at the highest level. And so those guys that are like the top, it's like the top 10 or 15 hitters in baseball. It almost seems like they have like a time travel mechanism in their head. You know what I'm saying? Because how else could they be that much better than everybody else? It's nuts. It's nuts. I don't know. How do you explain somebody like Juan Soto?
Albert Pujols, when he was playing, he had the quickest reflex reaction time in all of professional sports. So those guys can see, like when I was talking about how 100-mile-an-hour pitch is a reaction and you don't really see it, your body sees it, but your brain doesn't process it, like until after the fact. Those guys can see those pitches almost like the rest of us could see 95 or 90 or 88. So you're talking about Juan Soto is like that, definitely. Albert Pujols was like that. George Brett was like that. Miguel Cabrera was totally like that. Like, it was weird. That guy was a time traveler because he had this easy, long swing, and those 100-mile-an-hour pitches, they were nothing to him. Like, he would just rock them all over the place. You know, and those guys are like in in a higher percentile than, you know, for a typical hitter, you just chip away at the fastballs and you wait for the mistake. You just chip away, you chip away, you chip away. You have a 5, 6, 7 pitch at bat and you might strike out. That's a good team at bat because you just burned up 3 or 4 fastballs. That's 3 or 4 less fastballs than that guy's going to be able to throw for the rest of the game. So that's a good at bat. So that some strikeouts are good outs. They're good team at bats because you burned up the pitcher. That's good. But those guys, they're at a completely different level because they see those pitches differently than the rest of the players do. I was a very typical hitter, like really very, very typical hitter.
Yeah. But again, so at that level, again, what is it? I think it's for like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Let's say it's 0.3 of a second reaction time. So you have that long to decide if you're going to swing or not, to put a competitive swing on the ball. But when you're talking like 100,
it's almost not like a decision. It's just a reaction. It's reactive hitting. It's similar to like when I sit down to write a flash fiction story and I don't have a premise and I just sit down and I write whatever comes out. It's kind of like that. It's kind of a similar thing in that respect. Like it's coming from someplace else. It's coming from your reflexes. It's coming from it's your nervous system as opposed to your optical system.
Yeah, as if you're channeling.
It's weird. It's hard to explain. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like I said, I'm a big StatCast nerd, and I've been a fan all my life. Like I said, I wish I didn't break my elbows. But the thing is this too regarding baseball is it's all about angles. Back to sort of the sacred game, this sacred geometry bit of the Masonic connections, is that if you are like a superior player in those degrees, the best defenders always choose the best angles with the best step. And so we're talking about hitting mostly, but in the field as well. Like if you hit a line drive whistling into the gap, if you get like a superior first step and a perfect read on that ball, you can go cut that off and make a catch that nobody else out there can make. And at that level, like I said, it's incredible to see it. And there's a guy on the A's, by the way. I'm an A's fan. We'll A's shill for a second. Named what the hell's his name? Is it Denzel Clark?
Center fielder.
Yeah, the center fielder. The guy. It's almost as if he knows based on the swing. Like he's reading the swing as part of his first step and picks a perfect angle, and it's incredible. Like this is a type of athleticism that's not just, let's say, football and hockey and all the rest of it, but there's also sort of an intuition aspect to baseball. And those angles, a pure angle instead of a sloppy angle, obviously the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And so if you make the perfect read in the perfect first step, you see where you have a sort of a superior advantage in that game. It was always one of my strengths too, is the first step angle and going directly toward the read and being able to kind of cut it off where most people could not.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's geometric. Like you're saying. It's one of those things. And they say he's the best. They say he's the best center fielder in the game right now. On that point, this is another interesting thing for infielders. If you're watching an infield, when a third baseman or a shortstop throws to first base, most of the time when they throw the ball at the ground to the first baseman, that's on purpose, because like you said, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and the way the field is shaped, it's got like a bevel to it, like it's concave. So if they're behind the back part of the infield, where they aim is about 2 feet above pitcher's mound. Like that's kind of how you think about it. And so the ball's going, they're throwing the ball straight, but it hits the dirt in front of the first baseman. So they're using that principle of the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. They're also using gravity to help propel the ball there sooner. And here's the other point when I told you about how when the pitchers throw those fastballs, they're not just coming in straight like BBs. They're moving around in the air. When those guys throw across the diamond, they're throwing in the 90s too, and that ball is moving. So when the ball hits the dirt in front of the first baseman, it stabilizes the ball. And so the field is a part of your equipment, and that's one of the first things you're supposed to learn, especially as a first baseman, to how to use the ground as part of your equipment and how to work with your infielders to show them where you like the ball in the dirt, and they will hit that spot on purpose. And then when they're way back in the outfield, when they take a ground ball and it goes in the grass, they're down another 2 feet because it swoops down. So they skip the ball on the grass and in front of first base, that grass between pitcher's mound and first base, and the ball actually picks up speed when it hits the grass and skips like that. So those things, a lot of those throws that you see in the dirt are on purpose. They're not on accident. Like they're doing that on purpose. They practice it thousands of times.
Yeah, you'll back pedal to get yourself a better bounce, and then throw it in that exact spot to give your first baseman like the best chance to pick it, instead of overthrowing.
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, because it's easy to overthrow things when you're like, oh, I'm on my heels. I have to throw really hard. You tend to sail over the first baseman, but like you said, that's exactly what they train for, to drop that bounce right before the outfielders too. Because I was an outfielder and I played second base, center field, and so the same thing with the outfielders. They taught you to not throw on a line like that. Throw through the cutoff man, but you want one bounce that goes to the fielder exactly the same way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got
Theo back yet?
No, he hasn't called back. But Sweets added this: The Curse of Billy Penn, 1987 to 2008, was a sports-related curse, urban legend. Thank you, Sweets, and a popular explanation for the failure of major Philadelphia professional sports teams to win championships following the March 1987 construction of the One Liberty Place skyscraper, which exceeded the height of William Penn's statue atop Philadelphia City Hall. I love this. For decades prior to the construction of One Liberty Place, there had been a gentleman's agreement in place to ensure that no building in Philadelphia would be permitted to be higher than the William Penn statue atop Philadelphia City Hall. The curse ended on October 29, 2008, when the Philadelphia Phillies won the 2008 World Series, a year and 4 months after a statuette of the William Penn figure atop City Hall was affixed to the final beam during the June 2007 topping off of the Comcast Center, which made it the highest building structure in the city at the time. And Derek said this too, that there's a ton of these curses, the curse of the Bambino and superstitions in baseball. And I mean, like if you talk about magic and
Billy
sports,
Goat in Chicago.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was one in Chicago too, the Billy Goat. I don't remember how it went, but there was something where they brought Billy Goat into some restaurant or something, and it was like a curse, like it was like a thing, and the Cubs, they finally.
Yeah, there was that one guy with the Cubs specifically that reached over and clanked the catch that Moses was going to make, and then by the time the guy left the field, so he basically failed, got in the way of the fielder from the stands, a fan, clanked the ball, not allowing the fielder to catch it. His home team, by the way, and then they ended up losing the game because that extra out they gave away as part of the clank. What was it? Steve Bartman, right? Steve Bartman was the guy. It ruined his life.
And White Sox fans gave him season tickets to the White Sox.
Yes.
That's such a weird city. The North and the South Side hate each other so much.
That's funny.
It's so weird.
It is weird. What's up, Jim Chisla? I see you, Jay Winch.
I was at a Cubs game once. It was my first Cubs game I had ever gone to. And Wrigley Field, if you're a baseball weirdo, you got to go to Wrigley Field. It's Mecca. It's baseball Mecca. It's very, very special. And I was at my first Cubs game, and there were these Sox fans behind me just booing all the Cubs fans. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we're booing the worst team in baseball. That's what we're doing. I'm like, did you spend money to get in here? And they're like, yeah, you spent money to come here and boo a team? It's just crazy. They traveled all the way to the north side just to buy tickets and then boo the Cubs. That's why they went. It's crazy. They're crazies.
Yeah, that's everybody derives joy in different ways, and super hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? The whole baseball bit is it's sort of it is a space out of time. And before they introduced these new clocks, which, by the way, Herschel, holy crap, with the synchronicities and the weirdness of the 6s and the 9s, 15 seconds and the 18 seconds on the clock, dear God, it seems as if this was a special game. And it seems as if they want to keep those traditions numerologically. I don't know. Like I said, the more I think about it, the more it creeps me out. But I don't know, ritual or nah. I leave it up to you. As you guys know, I'm not here to tell you any truths about anything other than point out some of these weird things and go, what the hell is this? And so Herschel, who has now seen a new way to look at the game because I'm a weirdo, and that's what I do. Ritual? Is baseball a ritual? What's your final take on this as we wind this down?
Well, it doesn't have a linear clock, but it definitely has a mathematical structure. You know, I don't know if it's a ritual in the traditional sense of the word, but it's definitely got parameters and a structure and a mathematical parameter that, and a geometric parameter and a mathematical parameter that you can arguably say is a clock, but it's the thing is happening within it. You know,
within the clock. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If you guys haven't followed Herschel yet, you're hurting my feelings. Many people throughout the show, by the way, in the chat have been saying, I love Herschel's voice. I love the sort of how he has this mysterious air to the things he's saying. It's, yeah. And by the way, you can go follow Herschel, and you're still doing the readings on, is it Sunday morning now, I believe?
I'm doing my Sunday story time. I read flash fiction stories that I've written over the past couple of years, and Flash August Fiction is starting up on the 1st, so I'll be doing 7 stories a week for the whole month, and then I'll read 3 or 4 of those brand new stories on Sundays. And I've been on Substack inviting other writers to come and join me to try to see if I can get something going. I think it's a good, healthy activity. Get 3 or 4 writers to come in, each writer, you know, read some of their own stories, brief stories, you know, 1,000 words or less in parts, and then just go around in a circle and everybody reads a story, and then talk about writing, talk about what the story meant, how it came to you, talk about, like, you know, what you're trying to teach yourself with whatever story you're writing, like different things. And I think it's I really want to keep developing it. But yeah, Flash August Fiction is coming, but just join my you can join my Discord if you want. It's the Easytopian. And when you come into my readings and you read my you listen to my podcast, you're in Easytopia. Time stops and you enter Easytopia.
The Chronos returns to Kairos, which is amazing.
That's right.
Which is amazing. Please follow our friend Herschel. Go buy his books. You couldn't resist adjustable price stuff. You couldn't resist choose your price with Bitcoin. Please, again, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's Herschel. Thank you to Sweets for digging that tale up of William Penn. That's amazing. And then also shout out Theo. Sorry about the disconnect. It wasn't me, I promise. it wasn't me. But also, yes, let's drop this in all the chats. Thank you, Sweets, for that, for sharing Herschel's Discord, Easytopian. And Hirsch, man, if I wasn't doing so much, I promise you, like one of these days I'll dip in there and read some stuff. I've written some stuff. It just, as you know, I'm just like up to my neck with so many things. And
I know. Take your time. Take your time. I can't wait.
I appreciate that. And so I do want to say too, as part of that, like, please recognize that I am just a person. Like it may not seem like I'm a person, but I do have the limitations of people, and so I do my best, and I'm doing so many things. And so if I don't answer you right away, or if I don't join your guys' streams and things, please don't take it personally. I promise you it's not. I wish I could be there for all of it, and I can't. Okay, because there's human limitations. But I support you 100%. Keep doing the things. Keep growing the ideas. Keep being creative. Keep supporting each other. It means the world to me, and it means the world to me to be part of this. And you know, these in some capacity, the straw that stirs the drink. So thank you for, again, dealing with me and my nonsense, but also for being nice and kind to each other and supporting each other. Herschel, you're the best, brother. Thank you so much for being part of this tonight, and thanks for caring about the ideas, even if this wasn't, an obvious Masonic thing or not, but glad to have you. Thanks for scheduling this and being part of this. Shout out Fred. I'm glad your guy, by the way, is okay. He got hit in the hand in the All-Star game. Brutal. That's a bad way to get hurt. But yeah, Herschel, you're incredible. Thanks again for being part of this. Thanks for staying up late with us. And always a pleasure, my man. You were the best.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for this cool show. Thanks, everybody else, too. Thanks for listening.
Pleasure's mine. Go give Herschel a follow. If you have not, like I said, you're hurting my feelings. Would you please do that? Take a moment for all the work that goes into this, not just for me. I'm not crying about myself. I'm saying, look, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into this, not just from me, from people that drop calls. Sorry about that, Theo. The people in the chat, hanging out, being nice to each other. Please take a moment here or there and go follow our friends, troubledminds.org/friends. That's what this is all about. Like, look, if we're not creating a value space in the mind's eye and sharing it with other people, what the hell are we doing? That's it. It's as simple as that. I don't know where that came from. I channeled it from the baseball gods or whatever, but that's it. That's what it's about. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down, follow Herschel in all the places. Go buy his books. It's an adjustable price book. Hey. Please, let's help each other. Shout out to Puff. Shout out Puff again. Says, great topic tonight. Always love the esoteric occult. To the computer fund. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Puff says, from Puff and the Rumble crew, as usual. You are the best. Thanks for the generous donation. I appreciate it. By the way, there's a bunch of money on Rumble that I haven't taken off, so that's going to go to like a third of the computer already. So thank you for that, and that's probably from Puff and many of you others that have been tipping. I don't know how to get the money off, so thank you for that. If you want to help, look, a lot of ways to do it. I prefer you help our friends. Go buy Herschel's book. Go buy James's book. Go buy Robert's book. Go buy Matthew and Colorado's book. The people that are selling things, if you want to spend some money, go help them first, okay? Please go buy their books. If you got some extra money to spend, you know where to do it. Rumble is probably the best way right now. That's that. What else? If you want to help Troubled Minds directly, spread the word. Let people know a conversation is happening where we're not going to tell you who to vote for. We're not going to do some random nonsense narrative that's been fed to us by the mass media nonsense. We're going to talk about ideas, speculative moments in the human space. That's it. I got some other wild stuff coming up. Help our friends. Spread the word. Let people know a conversation's happening where we're not going to talk about politics. And that's that. What else? This one goes to Puff. Again, thanks again for pumping the dough in and helping with the computer. This is a new computer, by the way. How's my face look? Do I look good? And look, this is what I look like, actually, IRL, with just a little smoothing of my blotchy face. But this is what I look like without that weird filter I was always using. Yeah, that's that. As we finish, it goes exactly like this. Special thanks to Herschel for staying up late, planning this, and spending his All-Star game with us instead of watching it. And of course, this one's for Puff. Thanks again for the generous donation. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. It's Miller time. See you guys on Thursday night, God willing. You got show ideas, send them my way. Thanks again for being part of this. You are all the best, as you know. Let's see. Yeah, there's like an outro screen now. There you go. Herschel, thanks again, brother. I owe you one. And thanks for just being cool and chill. And thanks for being a baseball nerd. Holy crap, man. I thought I was one of few. Apparently, there's probably more of us than we ever dreamed. I'm not sure if he left or not. But yeah, anyway, you guys are the best. Thanks for being cool and chill.